I'm going to do this quick invocation. Temt-Ta. Hasa fi paren shil re. Anuki. Kull fi pa Temt-Ta. Inan atha kull fi istat bas shil pa Temt-Ta. Wa kull istat bas shil pa Temt-Ta. Kalun kar na. Hasa inan atha wah kar pa Temt-Ta. Wa hasa pa Temt-Ta kalun wah kar na. Hasa inan atha kull dik inan ahtigua. Kar pa Temt-Ta. Wa hasa inan ahtigua. Kalun li kawun. Kar pa Temt-Ta. Hasa inan atha najuhmul. Kar pa Temt-Ta. Wa hasa pa Temt-Ta kalun najuhmul kar na. Hasa inan atha daiman. Kar pa Temt-Ta. Wa hasa pa Temt-Ta kalun daiman kar na. Hasa pa Temt-Ta kalun inan. Hasa pa Temt-Ta yakul inan aikilua. Hasa pa Temt-Ta dura inan admilua. Amun. All right, so we know why we're here and the reason for this meeting. If you don't, please go ahead, turn your microphone on. You can ask a question. Okay, so right now, what is it that balls in Kairi's court? What is it y'all want to do?
Chief,
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yes, Chief. Chief, I want to continue. I have no other place to go to. I have no other person to go to. I have no way I can go, Chief. What happened? I accept responsibility. I blame myself. You know, there are things I didn't know that I took for granted. Chief, I want to continue. I am. It's like don't know where I stand now, you know, Chief, but I kind of flustered. I don't know what is the decision. I want to continue. I really want to continue. That is me, and I think most of us who I talk to, Chief, we talking to each other all the time, and what happened. I want to continue. I have no other place to go. I have no other choice. I have nothing, nobody else. So this is what I have put first in my life. You always say, let freedom be a motivation. Put the spiritual world first, and that's what I've been doing. And what happened? I take whatever whatever case I have to go through, Chief, I'll go through. I'll go through. Whatever the pain and the punishment, I'll go through that. I want to continue. I can't say anything else. It will be difficult for me without this. Very, very difficult.
Yes, but I'm still not getting an answer to the question. So what is it that you, okay, so I'll speak with you first. What is it that you want to do?
1 minute, Chief.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I send the link. Look at it. You sure? You sure? Yes, send it again. All right, no problem. That's a senior Chief. I sent to everybody. Yes, what did you ask? Just say it over.
Yeah, I said, what is it that you want to do?
We'll discuss what took place, and with me, I want to continue with my process.
Well, hold on a second. I got to mute my dual because I'm getting some feedback. Okay, so say that again.
Yes, I want to continue with my process.
Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, so I know what your position is. Okay, so Adum. Yeah, you gotta turn your mic on, Nanya Dumel. Oh, what happened? Did he just get short out? Oh, he's not moving. Okay, so I'll go to Kevon. We'll come back to Adum. Kevon, turn your mic on.
Yeah, Chief.
Okay, so you know what's going on.
Well,
Kevon, your mic. Okay, you're breaking up. Okay, try it again.
the last time I heard you speaking, I wasn't clear on what exactly took place in terms of in regards to Min Waab.
Okay, so you don't know what's happening.
No, I know what happened, but
Okay.
in because there was asking why it is because they felt that you abandoned them.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So now I first told them I'm not doing anything until I get a police report. Because
Right.
when that situation occurred, that was on our New Year. So that was not the best news to hear to bring in our New Year, number one. Number two, did Tasred inform you of the ritual that Min Waab did?
No, Chief.
Okay, so here we go again. You have to ask her and see if she'll tell you. And based on her body language and response, then you will see that Min Waab did a ritual to Obatala and offered up a black chicken and some other chicken. Now, Obatala's colors are white. That's his color. So he offered up some chicken blood. Now, I went and contacted an Ifa priestess regarding that because I thought that was strange. And she said, no, he will take that. However, you have to ask permission from Obatala. You can't say, here, give it.
Right, right.
You have to get permission. So not only that, he offered up a chicken that was not white, not a pigeon, not a hen, not, what's the other, or a dove. So I found that peculiar. Why would he do that? And so Tasred said she wasn't in the house. She was in the house and he was outside. The only one who did that was Min Waab. Nobody knows what it was that he did other than the statement he made afterward, this will turn things up, and that was it. So, so this may have been before you came up. We had a meeting when it was brought to my attention by Nanya Adumel about the smoking that Min Waab and them do at that office.
Right.
So I asked him point blank. I had Ma'at from Texas was also on because she was working with Nobly and Tasret. And so I asked Min Waab, do you have a problem? And he said, no. I said, okay, fine. Now the information I got from Nanya Adumel is that they're chronic smokers, chronic. Now, I spoke with Amenhi Tep about 3 days ago. I think it was Thursday we spoke. And you confirmed what Adum El said regarding Min Waab smoking. That is chronic, chronic, chronic. So I had told Min Waab, in other words, I'm not gonna get into that of a personal nature, so to speak, but I did tell him, your jalabia should not be smelling like weed.
Okay.
So if you weren't aware of that before, you now know. And I also told everybody, if they see that Min Waab is stepping out of line, or they don't like the way he's addressing them or dealing with them, I told them to contact me. So when this situation occurred, now all of this other stuff comes out about how he was dealing with some new guy named Patrick. He cussed him out. And I said, well, why am I being told this now? When this occurred, y'all was supposed to contact me. So I don't care if they feel that I've abandoned them. Far from it, because I still gave a remedy. And I said, I went and found a ritual and told Tasseret, here's a ritual you can do to petition Obatala because of what Min Waab did. And at first I said, can you handle this? Is this good? Is this too much for you? No, Chief, I could do it, Chief. Okay. Next day, I think it was the Saturday we spoke again. They didn't want to do that. They want to do the ancestor offering formula that I did. But the problem with that is Min Waab initiated a Vodun ritual. See, this is spirituality, and this is something you don't play with. So he initiated a Vodun ritual, and that ceremony, the ritual that he did for a particular outcome, as his mate, Tasseret wants remedy. I said, but you can't use my ancestor offering formula on that because he brought in Vodun. Is everybody hearing me? So I went while I was on the phone with her and said, here, I found a book. Here's the book. Here's the page. Here's what you have to do to petition Obatala. Because Obatala is a deity. So that's like somebody saying that you go over to visit them, and instead of asking you if you want something to drink, and you already have had something to drink, they bring you a glass of rum punch or some puncher creamer and just put it on the chair in front of you or the table in front of you. You don't want that, and they didn't ask you if you wanted. Isn't the general principle, you have a guest, you ask them, would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? Correct?
Correct.
So how would you feel you go someplace and they put a beverage in front of you, you're not thirsty, but they put it in front of you, basically telling you you have to drink. How would you feel about that?
Uncomfortable,
Say what?
offended too.
Okay.
Uncomfortable and offended.
Say that again?
Uncomfortable and offended.
Okay. So I speak with an Ifa priestess because she did some work for me and said, hold on, what's with this thing here with blood and Obata? Oh yeah, he'll take it, but you have to get permission. You can't just give it. So when I asked Min Waab, do you have a problem? Right? Because if he did have a problem, I would not sanction him in that position. So when I spoke with Menhotep and Nanya-shaabu, I said, look, y'all have no excuse. Y'all know he was chronically smoking and you didn't tell me. He said, of course, no, he don't have a problem. Obviously, he's going to say that. But if he has a problem and there's 5 other people saying he does, which outnumber him, his mate, and his brother and nobly, then guess what happens? The majority rules out. So when I found out what occurred, and I said, look, this here is ridiculous. 14 ounces he got caught with. And then, no, it was 200. I said, well, that's 7 ounces. And you say you grown your own. So what the hell would you need to go up north to get if you grown in your own backyard? Because I told him, your jalabia should not be smelling like no weed. So if it's smelling like weed, you change the frequency of the white. Cardiff at least understood what I was saying when he said, okay, I said, yes, you guys disrespected the white by having that. If you're a shaman and you're doing something of a shamanistic nature, that's different. You're wearing white and you're sitting there wanting to smoke and weed. No. And I told him we're not doing that. Amenhotep was on the meeting. Hasina may have been on the meeting, I think. And I was very clear. We're not doing any of that. So if you are a smoker and you're a drinker or anything like that, I'm not tolerating that. Min Waab knew this. This was not something he didn't know. But I'm not really upset with him per se. I'm more upset with the rest of you all because you all knew this and didn't tell me. So in the meantime, for the sake of the discussion, the devil was running your office and I could have stopped that, but y'all would not tell me. So it's the same thing that y'all was complaining about the Nuwaubians with Atumre. When Atumre gave them an instruction, they don't listen. I'm telling you all, everyone has my phone number. They can text me, WhatsApp me, email me, Facebook message me, everything. I said, and that was I said, y'all didn't get it. If Min Waab is acting out of line and disrespectful, then you tell me, I tell him, no, you have to move from there. You can't be in charge. Did you all do that?
No, Chief.
Okay, so now then, you guys, where you were at and what you all were achieving, that's all down in the mud right now. So if y'all are not going to put, and this is what I had made mention of to Nanya-shaabu, if you all cannot check each other, what the hell makes you think you're going to check these lepers out here? That was the devil up in there that was running your stuff. And I said, okay, let me see what is going to happen here. Because I said, is everything all right? And I'll ask him. I asked when Amenhotep, is everything fine? This is after the meeting we had and before this stuff. Is everything fine? Now I'm hearing 3 days ago, oh no, he's a chronic smoker. Oh yes, he does that a lot. So why the hell y'all ain't say nothing? So I don't care if Tasret is upset and feel like you abandoned them. What about Makatari and Latouche? Because this is how this breaks down. This was a deal with Min Waab. That's how I'm viewing this. So
Right.
Makatari and Latouche were innocent and got caught up in that.
All right.
And y'all could have told me in advance that could have stopped it. So those two brothers that's up in there in the jail, y'all responsible for that. Not me. Y'all are responsible for that. Because if you would have told me, I would have pulled in Min Waab, said, nope, you can't be that. You smoking too much? No, that means you're not going to have your faculties together. And then they're going to watch you. What, you think I don't know they're not going to be macroing down in Trinidad? They said, okay, we're going to let you get away with not standing for the national anthem. We're going to watch you. That's what I told Tasret. I said, what, you think they're not watching y'all? What the hell? This is bigger than that nonsense with the Nuwaubians. This is why I said this is a different level. You see something, you know that, and I gave everybody, they didn't have to worry about no intimidation by Min Waab if people was afraid. You could have called me directly. That's not what happened. So I'm saying at this point, what is it that y'all want to do? Because as far as I'm concerned, y'all allowed that to happen. I said, damn, so you mean that they would have let this go and not said nothing to me, and stuff could have been worse. Y'all sat there and said nothing. You didn't tell me nothing.
I don't want to sound like trying to justify my situation, Chief, but I actually heard when he said he was growing in his own backyard. and I thought it was a okay situation.
I ain't got a problem with the backyard. Are y'all listening to what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You
No, I
really
just
get
thought
what
it
I'm
was
saying? No.
an
You're
overall.
not hearing what happened. He went up north to supposedly a drumming festival. I find out from my men they were planning on going up there on the 26th. When he got arrested, it was the 25th. Right? You see how I said, well, I was gonna say kid. I said, nah, strike that. He was arrested him and them was arrested on the 25th. That was when we were celebrating. Tasret interrupts me while I'm speaking to bring that up. So I said, okay, fine. What's going on? I find out Thursday that a week ago, Amen said we were going to go up there, and Latouche and Amen talk every day. So he said, well, how is it he end up north and have to pass me and not tell me this? So that means that Min Waab conscripted those brothers who were innocent to get involved with his stuff. And that's why he did the ritual the Monday night, which would have been the early Tuesday morning. 20 hours later, he gets arrested. That's no different than the guy he was helping when y'all had the new moon celebration. Min Waab did the sigil on the ground, the vave on the ground, the veve on the ground. And the guy who lit the fire, who was the fire keeper, y'all were outside drumming and celebrating. He goes in the house. So Min Waab said he went inside and said, what are you doing inside? Everybody is outside. And he said, I don't see the need for this. Now he volunteered to light the fire for that ritual. You with me?
Correct.
Then he leaves and stays in and lays down in the bed as a fire keeper. That's a spiritual contract that he just violated. The next day, him and his girl get into a thing and the police come punch him in the face. He's locked up for 3 days. Then when he gets released, he comes running to who? Min Waab. Min Waab tells me this and says, Min Waab told the guy, look, he tell him, I can't help you because when you did that ritual and you walked away, that was for Papa Legba, you dishonored that. So now he's spanking you for that. He said, I can't get involved because I could catch it. So what you have to do is go to your mother, who's a spiritual Baptist down there. He grew up around it, but he don't want to do it. Go to your mother, who's the spiritual Baptist, and have her do a ritual for you, but I can't get involved in that. Now, was that sound judgment by Min Waab?
All right.
So that was sound. That was correct action, right?
Right.
He did a ritual to Obatala, offered blood, didn't get permission, didn't even offer a white chicken. And now they're expecting me to get involved in that matter. And I say, what you have to do is, here is a formula, a petition to Obatala to fix whatever it is that Min Waab did. Now, Tasret said she could do it. It wouldn't be a problem. I said, okay, this is what you got to do. She ain't do it. She wanted to do the ancestor offering formula that I created. And I said, no, that is different because you now put the ball in motion in Vodun. So your remedy has to be where?
From Vodun.
So you can't go to some other modality to fix a problem that you initiated in the Vodun. You have to use the Vodun remedy. True or false?
True.
Is this making sense to everybody? So the thing now is, I'm not getting involved. Just like he would not get involved with the guy for ignoring the fire as a firekeeper 4 days ago before he got locked up. So I'm not getting involved in that. And then when I'm finding out now, I'm getting all this. So if Min Waab was smoking, he was always smoking, they was always smoking, the office is always smoking. I said, you all ain't tell me this. And we had a meeting regarding this. And I said, if it looks like he doesn't have control, and Sa even asked Min Waab about that, like, do you have a problem? Do you know? And you, no, everything's good. I said, okay. So when I told everybody, I quoted a wise man, and he said, when you see somebody doing something they're not supposed to be doing, and you don't say anything, you're just as guilty as they are. And if people are going up there and have to subject themselves to having to smell the cannabis on them, on their clothes and everything, no, that's not right. But y'all didn't tell me, because I would have told them, no, you're not going to do that. So now, that's why we're having this meeting. I said, what y'all want to do? Because my thing is, I'm not confident in y'all. Because if he didn't get caught there could have been something else that would have gave him license. Oh, I could do something even greater and grander. Because none of them here is going to say nothing to me. And they're not going to tell Chief. So y'all caused your own fault.
Was not true.
Because I have all the conversations I have with Tasret. That's why I had really wanted to get confirmation before and give everybody, but I can do this afterward. I'll put the audio files together. I'll upload them and email them. I'll give them to Dumel and Amenhotep, and you can make sure everybody who was on here and y'all could listen to the conversation for yourself. Because when Tasret said, oh, we're going to call Chief, and Chief is going to call the police station, I said, hold on, where are you getting that presumption to speak for me as to what I am and what I'm going to do? Because people who found out about it that I talked with, they said, oh, it sounds like the guys up in the mountains set them up. And then I said, okay, if Tasret is feeling and Nobly and them is mad, why is she not saying why Min Waab is locked up and in jail? Why she's not publishing it on Facebook? Why she's not putting a post that he's kidnapped? Because if she does that, people are going to say, why is he in jail? And what's the first thing that's going to come up, Kevon?
The marijuana.
So if they feel that they're in the right, shouldn't they be publishing that and doing videos and showing her face?
Correct.
Is she doing that?
No, Chief.
Is Nobly doing that?
No, Chief.
Is what's his name? Cardiff doing that?
No, Chief.
So why are they not doing it? Because they're not innocent.
Understood.
So if that was Min Waab's deal, those two brothers unfortunately got caught up in that. Y'all are responsible for that. So why should I want to go forward with you all when you're seeing that type of stuff going on and saying nothing? And this is open to everybody. So this question is open. Anyone to answer, you can turn your mic on. Or I know, Ganya, you don't have a thing, so you can put in the chat. What's the incentive? I'm showing you all how to get to this point. Here's how you do it. Here's how to do the ritual. I'm telling you all, you can't have nothing like that on you. Because the same people, and y'all know the people down there way better than I do. So any excuse they would use to want to mess with you, they're going to look for it. So if you can't be astute enough to say, listen, admit you have a problem, nope, you can't be in charge, because when pressure comes, you're going to smoke. And I know Tasset was smoking when I spoke with her on the phone. And I was like, look, this is not what we're about. Because people don't have no self-control. And so now I'm supposed to step in and call the station and hey, you got that? I said, no. I said, I've been around way too long. I already done see what's going on there. And so the focal point they want to put on is what? oh, the judge doesn't have an oath. No, your ass was not supposed to have nothing on you. And that's why I said, when I say your jalabia should not smell like weed, that means you don't keep that shit nowhere near you. So he can get mad, I'm a band. Oh no, this is a spiritual matter. He made he did a spiritual offering. He traversed commercial. He traversed spiritually. I'm not getting involved in the circumstance under which, no. Plus I pulled stones just in case and kept my emotion out of it and say, okay, what is the correct course of action? So every stone that I've pulled, Nanya Dumel got it. We went through it yesterday. Amenhotep, I sent that out, and I said, make sure everybody in Kairi has it. So everyone should have the screenshot of the stones I pulled. If you don't have it, please put in the chat you don't have it. And so I pulled stones, and I made sure that Tasret, Rosalie, and Cardiff got that before I cut them off. So I said, now you know what my position is. So don't get mad at me, Min Waab. You put yourself in that position because of your greediness. And you didn't acknowledge the fact you have an addiction problem. So, but I'm not mad at him. I'm looking at y'all, not the new people who have no idea what's going on. For those of you that have been around, y'all knew better. And you allowed this to happen. So you allowed the devil to come up in there and pull what you all accomplished down. Then you go down to the station to show support, knowing full well, or should have known, or ought to have known, this is what happened. And now they got cameras all up in the square having pictures of you all saying they're trying to justify what this guy did and got caught with, and y'all are standing out there in white. So if y'all can't say stuff and you see that person is acting dishonorably, you know I'm going to rein them in, or I'm going to tell them you're out. But you don't do that. So the old saying must be true. People get the leader that they deserve. So you didn't want what I offered, and I know how that stuff happens, where people are in charge, start manipulating people, and I basically put my foot in and said, look, this is the stopgap measure. Just like how Oprah Winfrey, when they had the molestation going on at the school in South Africa, she said the first time she went there personally, she apologized to all the parents, and she said, here is my card to the girls. Anything funny happens, this is my direct line. You let me know. We had a meeting. I told everybody, if you don't like the way Min Waab and he's acting the ways, you tell me, you let me know. You try to work with him and he's not being reasonable, you contact me. You have that power to come to me. So you don't have to worry about getting intimidated or getting influenced. So now I'm getting all these stories about his smoking and Tasret smoking and constantly smoking. This is after we had the meeting. So honestly, I don't want to hear that shit from none of you all. Not talking about the new people who going through the process, and I'm not talking about y'all. The ones who's around you that introduced you, I want to hear shit from them. I want to know what the hell y'all want to do. What the fuck can you tell me right now why I should work? I'm not talking about the ones who are going through the webinar, because you guys are going to graduate. I'm talking about y'all who have graduated and want Kairi to move up. What the fuck can you tell me now? Because that means if I put somebody in and they act nice, but then they flip, y'all will sit there and say not a motherfucking thing. I thought I was dealing with some deities. So I see I'm dealing with mortals. Everything I told you, Atram Ray this, man, fuck all that shit that Atram Ray said. It didn't matter with the Nuwaubians. Here it is, a whole new thing. Y'all did the exact same fucking thing. Now you want to work with me. Why the fuck should I take any of you all on? And I'm not talking about the new people who are just coming in. Y'all have a clean slate. But the people who referred you, they're in my fucking doghouse. All of them. So give me a reason why. Why should I go forward with you all? Why should I risk anything with you all? Why? I'm all ears. Nobody could talk before. Soon as Min Waab come into trouble and Chief's not doing nothing. Oh, now everyone's talking. All right, so this is what y'all wanted. Let's talk. I'm all ears.
Rahuaat, Chief, you hear me? Nanya-shaabu?
Yes, go ahead.
Obviously, we sat by, I was experiencing stuff and nobody was saying anything. And it are times when we, once Amin mentioned to me that you give Min Waab some leeways to be, how should I put it?
You weren't at the meeting, so I don't think you should really quote when you weren't at the meeting. I think you should speak about what you know.
Okay, right. Okay, Chief. Well, in terms of for myself, I would say, listen, being with you for over a year, I know that as a deity, we have to. Our role is different. We have to be thinking and moving up to a pristine kind of according to the standards. We took things for granted based on, I don't know if it's a laid back island kind of vibe. I don't know if it was that. However, I think in the future, right? Stuff like that will never be overlooked again, especially by me.
You can't say that because you're the one that brought me the issue initially. And I told you on the phone, this is before we had the meeting, I said, if he's talking to you a kind of way and you feel he's talking to you disrespectfully, you let me know. I said, if they're continuing to smoke and all that stuff, you let me know. I said, you were complaining to me, I'm an elder and I need to be treated as an elder. I said, you're an elder, act like an elder. You see stuff is wrong, you tell the younger ones. They don't want to listen, you ain't got to worry about that. You tell me. Then we all sit down and say, okay, is what Adumel saying true or false? It's true? Okay, why are you doing it? So we accomplished that before we had the meeting that you were not at. That was accomplished with you and me on the phone. And I said, I'm holding you to a higher standard because you've been around longer.
Yes, Chief. However, what I'm asking, Chief, is that I know to myself that, and you could ask everybody else on the webinar.
I ain't asking nobody nothing. I'm the one that you spoke with and you told me and I made it clear so there was no miscommunication.
I agree with that, Chief.
Future, you let me know. I told you flat out, that was on a phone call between you and me before we had that major meeting that you weren't able to come to. So that's a done deal. You can't even go back in that direction. You knew. Would you like to continue?
Yes, Chief. Yeah, well, yeah, it happened because I was in so much of a different mood swings over just going in that environment, not wanting to say stuff because it's the first Chief.
I'm hearing excuses. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Okay, so
I'm not hearing nothing that's giving me an incentive to hear that you going forward. You're not giving me no reassurance. You're giving me the past.
Chief, as we go
What can
forward,
you say right now at this moment? What can you say that can guarantee me stuff's going to be different?
Chief, I guaranteed you that stuff is going to be different. Nothing that happened.
How are you going to give me a guarantee? How? You were elder, and I told you know the deal. I gave you a specific. Min Waab got leeway. No, I told you because you the one that spoke up. I said, wow, Nanya-shaabu is the only one speaking up about what's going on up there. There's constantly smoke. I said, no, we can't have that. So when you and I spoke, I told you if there's a problem, if he's disrespecting you, what did I tell you?
To call you, Chief.
I said, if he's getting out of line, what did I tell you?
To be in contact with me.
I said, don't worry about that. I said, but you let me know if he's not being agreeable or doing what he's doing or anything that's out that you know is wrong. Did I say that to you?
Yes, Chief.
When we had the private conversation?
Yes, Chief.
Did you do that from that moment on?
No, Chief, I didn't. Because
okay.
I was just leaving things. I was just overlooking stuff that I know for sure that it's not going to ever happen again. Right, Chief? For me, for me personally, I want to move forward with you, Chief, and do my uniform commercial code, and to be part of everything's going to be happening with you.
What is the? I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
Right. But my thing is, what guarantee are you giving me? Your word is not sufficient enough no more. You do realize that, right? Because if those two, if Makatari and Latouche was told and Min Waab commanded them to escort him while he was doing that deal, y'all are responsible for them being damaged and being up in that jail. Has anyone even found out if Latouche even knew what was going on? Did anyone know if Makatari knew what was going on? Because what I was informed was that Min Waab basically said, here, I need you to come with me, and so they came.
Are you hearing me, Chief?
Yes, go ahead. Amen.
I tried to find out what from his mate. I even spoke to her today. When she visited him, I asked her what it is he is saying, but she said he's not saying anything. Because I tried to find out from her what is his stand on it. And I was still trying to find out, but she said she's not saying anything. Considering that right now she's probably on the way up where the office used to be, because they have some birthday party there or something like that for some child today. So she called me today and she told me she wanted some stuff, and I'm still trying to get from her. You know,
so what is his mate saying?
She spoke to him, but she's not saying I want to get from her what it is he is saying inside of it. She's telling me she's not saying anything. What happened to, I know Taswet and them, they are speaking, they are also talking to her. So I do not know if they are telling her anything, because I told her to contact you and I told her, expect a call from her.
Never got one.
Yeah, so I told her to talk to you, you know, because I'm trying to get from her what it is he is saying, you know, what caused, because to me, well, I said we had spoken before that we were going to be Wednesday. And when he passed, and I was not, as you were saying before, I only think that Min Waab probably had to call him out, and he went. I am telling myself, he probably got caught up in that. Maybe
this is what it appears to be.
Yes.
Because
but
there's no reason for Min Waab, if you growing stuff in your backyard, what the hell you need more from somebody else for? You know what you have in your backyard.
Yes.
See, and do you see that's not even the issue. The issue is, to me, I see greed. That's what I see. That's what I see is greed, because according to task threat, as soon as they left there, they went down a road, and that road happened to have a block, right, on the road. And then that's when they searched the car. So the only thing I really want to see is a police report regarding this situation to find out. The police report will tell a lot. So if his girl don't want to contact me, she don't have to. All I know is if they believe, and I'm using that word specifically, if they believe that they have done nothing wrong, then they should have had no problem publishing it every day. There should be a post from task threat she visited, and right, he's a chief. I said, yeah, he can be a chief all he wants, right? Then he tried to go put his documents for them in at the United Nations down there, and they refused. They're not gonna honor that nonsense. So that's telling me these are a bunch of drug addicts. But y'all let the drug addicts run car. That's on y'all, not the new people. The people who didn't know, it ain't on them. It's on y'all who knew. So I'm not holding my breath on Letitia's mate contacting me. I highly doubt that.
And Chief, one question: How are you going to get the police report now? Because
I'm not worried about that. I'm sleeping very well, so that's not really an issue. I'm saying anything they say, anybody with sense and logic, especially people that I train, they're gonna say, "Where's the police report?" That's what they're gonna say. Where's the police report? Because the police report will tell everything of what happened. Because I told task rep, this is because I know some of y'all don't know this either. So Kivon, this is for you to know. I told task rep, you need to get, if it was an indigenous drumming event, a festival, you need to get the people who gave Min Waab the cannabis to do a ritual for him. And she balked at why I had to go. I said, because this is what indigenous people do. So their offering caused pain to those three. And so they have to now do what? An offering. And they got to support them. They have to assist them. Because if they didn't give it to Min Waab, then none of this would have happened. Go ahead, keep on.
Chief, initially when we was out there and we supposed to be organizing the police report and all of that, it was supposed to reach you. And I even followed up with it. And when I call and I ask, or I call the chief, what we calling the chief for? That was the response that I get.
Mm-hmm.
So then I start to feel a kind of way now, because why you're pulling square after you call the chief, there's a situation that happened and whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't realize it's an emotional thing that taking place, and like everybody start to pull square.
So again, like I said, I told her contact the newspaper people, contact the Minister of Health for Trinidad, and contact who's the other one? And you have to write to Prime Minister. And I know she can't do none of that, because the first thing is say he got caught with 7 ounces of weed, and he already has a record. So if they could really play with him and say, oh, this is trafficking, fuck it, give him 2 years.
And the next 2 brothers will get caught up in that too.
Say what?
I see, and the next 2 brothers will get caught up in that too.
Got caught up in that because the rest of you all knew what he was doing by the smoking, and you didn't tell me. And I was clear. If there's something wrong, you don't like, hey, I don't like how I going up to the office and I have to be smelling cannabis. I go home, I'm smelling like weed on me. You're supposed to do what? Tell me. Nobody told me. That's it. It's on you all. I'm not responsible for that. So all I need to do is find out, and I'll find out, that these two, Makatari and Latouche, were caught up in a deal that Min Waab did, and y'all is responsible for their pain, for their family's pain. Because you would not let me rein in the devil deep. That is deep. And then you wonder why no masters want to come down to this planet anymore. You complained about that in Trinidad, right back in the Ansar school. You complained about that with the Nuwaubians. I'm telling you, this is different. If the person that I'm saying is in charge is not acting properly, you guys are my eyes down there, my ears down there. You let me know. I confront them. If I don't like it, boom, that's it. They're out of there. We ain't playing that stuff. But y'all didn't like that. You liked the old ways. So now here you have it. Credibility shot. Burnt, obliterated. Because I don't want to offend, I don't want to get nobody in trouble. Fuck all that shit. This is bigger than Min Waab, than Tasret. And now, are they making headway? No. I know that, and I'm all the way up here, and I know they ain't making no headway. When I saw they tried to go to the UN and they refused their documents, I said, yes, they've already put a red flag on them. They put the word out on them. They said it's a bunch of drug dealers. The UN want no part of it. So if I say I don't want no part of it, and I get my reports published by the UN, and I say I'm not involved in this, and the UN down there don't want their documents, what's that telling you? So there's a bunch of drug addicts down there. This is nothing against the cannabis. It's, again, if people don't have control, they can become possessed by the thing which they feel the most attached to. So it all points back to the rest of you all who had knowledge and didn't do anything. So now, why should I work with people like that who will see stuff and say nothing? Give me a reason. Ganya, you have, okay, Kivon, you don't have, what is it, the Urim and Thummim? You don't have that?
The stuff with the stones.
Oh, you can get that from Amen. Amen, you have the text that I sent, so forward that to him.
No problem.
Okay, now Ganya, Chief, can we correct the mistakes of the past and make better for the future? Yes, if that's okay with you. Yes, you guys got to give me a reason. Why? That's all I'm asking. Give me a reason. Give me something that is not, okay, I'll consider that. There's how many of you all? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 of you all, maybe 8? So out of the 8 of you all, y'all are the ones that are holding everything together in terms of going forward. So if y'all can't give me a reason, then it's like, hey, this stays on ice until you can find me one that gives me a valid reason. Why should I work with y'all? Because that means you all know each other down there, and you see somebody doing something and you all ain't saying nothing. Now it's damaged everybody, and you all knew. I spoke to her yesterday, and from the way she speaks, she is not going to listen to anyone but Min Waab. Who is this Ganya you're talking about? In the chat. Is everybody still there? It looks like
Yes.
everybody froze. Okay.
It was getting a little breaking up. That would be
froze. I
tough.
couldn't hear what
Yeah, I
you
think everybody
said,
froze. Oh yeah, they
Chief,
did. I'll
but
be
we
back.
can't see the message.
It's frozen. Sheet got frozen now.
Chief, you hear me?
Chief.
Chief,
He got kicked off. He'll come back on.
Yeah, I guess 50.
Yeah, just give him a moment to get back in.
No problem, sir.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, Chief. Yeah, we couldn't hear from the time you started to read Ganya's message.
Okay, no surprise there. And it's gone now because as soon as I got kicked out, it's gone. Who were you speaking with, Ganya? You said I spoke with her yesterday and she's not going to listen to anyone except Min Waab. So who is that you were talking about? So yeah, just go ahead and put that in the chat. So while he's doing that, I'll just remind everyone, remember, I've stated this in the past, if you act the fool and do some stupid stuff, I feel no way about throwing you to these reptiles and watch them eat you. Remember? Remember?
Yes, Chief.
So Min Waab ain't got no, he could get mad all he want. I told him what to do to avoid those type of realities from manifesting, and he refused to listen. A part of it I kind of blame, I hold responsible is Ma'at with the carrot bars, but that's another issue. And I even sent them information to let them know, because Ma'at told Nobly, because she's been speaking with them, that when July 4th rolls around, Min Waab will have the funds he needs to do what he needs to do. They're not doing no big dollar payout on carrot bars. All they're doing is they're going to give gold for every 100 grams that you exchange. You'll get a 1/10 of a gram of gold. They're not putting no fiat. So if Nobly and Tasset was hoping for that, that's not what happened at the carrot bars event that just happened on Thursday. Their exchange isn't going to be up till September or October. So anyone thinking they're getting a payout under carrot bars, Now you can, but it'll only be 11 cents. So you're better off holding on to them until they accrue in value. So the funds that Min Waab was looking at getting to try to do things, if he was doing that based upon the information that they got from either Ma'at and myself, that didn't matter. It's not manifesting. Not right now.
Chief, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Who we have here, Chief? We have Hudson, we have Nanya-Dumel, we have Hasina, we have Kevon, and Patrick. Yes, Patrick is here. With us here, Chief, all of us know each other. All of us know each other for a while. we had known Min Waab too. We hadn't known Tasret, we hadn't known nobody. Min Waab and what's his name? Quadrip didn't come on for too long. So none of us here have that habit. None of us here have that habit, Chief.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Didn't Hatchery talk about not smoking weed?
Yes, Chief.
Isn't it in the mind book about using intoxicants?
It's in the mind book, Chief.
Okay, and now you're telling me that Min Waab was a chronic smoker, correct?
Yes, Chief.
All the time, correct?
Yes, Chief.
Heavy, correct?
Every time I see him, every time whole day, he's smoking.
Okay, so now don't you think that was something when we had the meeting and he said he didn't have a problem, you should have said something?
Yes, Chief.
No, I addressed that to Nanya-shaabu, because he was on that meeting when I said, no, we called the meeting, Min Waab was there, you were there, Hasina was there, everybody was there. That was the time to say, listen, every time I see you're smoking cigarettes, man, you smoking weed, I don't like to have to come up to the office and smell like that. Did you say that, Adumel?
No, Chief.
Okay, but you know he's a chronic smoker, right?
Every time I go there, he smokes all the time.
Okay, so now we have this current situation that occurred because you all failed to tell me. You think if I knew it was that bad that I would let him continue?
Chief, Chief, you would not have let it continue. But this is something that's happening all the time. This is something that, I mean, I don't know how to.
No, you already answered the question. I would have said no. You've already answered that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So you knew I would have said no, that's unacceptable.
You would have said it was unacceptable, Chief.
Okay, but in the meantime, you continue to let him smoke, right?
All right.
I don't see what's funny about this because there's two guys that's potentially in jail because you guys, especially you, kept your mouth shut and didn't tell me. So I don't see nothing about this funny.
So, Chief, what happened? We don't. For me, I don't know how. I don't know how you would have reacted, even though you told me that.
That's irrelevant how I'm going to react. That is irrelevant. You talked about, I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I said, no, this ain't about getting nobody in trouble. This is about protecting everybody else's image. That's what this is about. What people do in the confines of their house or whatever, not getting too tough into that. But you see, when you're going out into the public like that, no. Because he didn't get caught at his home, did he?
No, Chief.
Where did he get caught?
Outside.
And so now the public is going to see this image. Oh, what the heck? Hey, what's going on here, boy? What are you doing all this? What's he going to say? It's for personal use? And then according to what Amenhotep told me, the police don't really get on you like that. They're more concerned about the amount.
Yes.
Not that you have it.
Quantity.
So here I'm telling everybody, don't do it. Your robe should not smell like no cannabis. And what does that mean? You don't keep it on you. Now, if he's not astute enough to read in between the lines of what I'm saying, then yeah, clearly he's an addict. Because that would be, you cannot take a chance. Not for something like this. And you can't make that a UN issue. Somewhere in the future, maybe it'll get legal down there, but until then, right now, this is what you're dealing with. And whose image is going to be affected by it the most? Mine. Y'all didn't give a fuck.
Chief, it's not that I'm not saying we didn't give a fuck. So
Hey, I'm looking at actions. You can talk all you want, Right now, where's Min Waab and the other two?
Lock up.
And isn't Min Waab a chronic smoker?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, nothing left to say, man. Nothing you can say. Yes, go ahead.
Chief, could I say something?
Yes.
I'm not in this very long, but the little that I've been there, what I could say is there's a difference when you're at somebody's home, function in an office, and it's not even office hours.
Say that last part again. It's a difference what?
No, I said it's a difference when you're at somebody's home.
Yes.
Yet functioning as an office.
Yes.
Out of office hours.
Yes.
Right? Now, I remember I called to make a request for some piece of document. I don't know if it's the affidavits of fact.
Yes.
And I called Min Waab directly, and he told me, all right, so the office is closed right now, and so you will have to call during office hours. And I said in my mind, okay, you know, because at the time I was there and it was on the conference with you.
Yes.
I thought that it was anytime, you know, you all had a reason to talk, you know, you just come up and decide or call them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I thought they didn't have any office hours, you know, particularly at that time. But then he outlined to me, call, the other day was a Sunday I called, tell me call Monday between office hours. And that is between typically 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
I said, okay, so they have office hours.
Okay.
So here's the reason, I mean, my little time I was there, the guy is also, Min Waab is at the comfort of his home. You know? And even me and all, if I remember the second time I came there and I asked a question and the whole system sort of malfunctioned and shut down. And something transpired the very first time after I left there, maybe about a week. And I asked myself, I say, what if I was to come there in a meeting and ask a question? And somehow he felt threatened because of probably incompetence or something. I mean, how would I look in his house? So maybe from those brothers, being is in his home, they felt that they don't want to ask any or say anything to cause any major disruption, and they don't know how he's going to react. But if it is that the office was in a separate place from his home, and we were doing office duties or office hours or a conference call, you know, I could understand brothers saying something about it. Listen, you're in the office right now, you know, we shouldn't have this doing, we shouldn't have doing.
Yes.
But in the comfort of somebody's home, it could have a little bit of mixture there.
No, yes, and I accept what you're saying with reservations. There's only one error in your logic, right? And I see where you're coming from, so it's not disregarded. I get into a man's home in his castle. I get all that. However, he's doing working with me, and you people who come in who are new, the old saying is the first impression is what sticks. So if he's being, that's not an image of me, because then that means, well, if this guy's doing it, what is the guy who he has to answer to doing? So at the point he's taking anybody into his home no longer becomes his home. He's acting as a satellite office of our nation, working in tune with our nation. So as such, he has to conduct himself accordingly. And we had a meeting about this, because you're not aware of this, but we had a meeting and I told people, if you don't like what's going on there in the office, meaning his house, you tell me. You come to him, and I tell them this was a way of resolving those type of issues by coming to him, but I was hearing little things that I can't talk to him. I can't talk to Min Waab. He's saying F this person, F that. I said, okay. So then when we had the meeting, everybody said everything was cool. I said, okay, fine. Now, because of this current situation, I said, well, if he's chronically smoking, I don't care if it's his home or not, I'm not going to be associated with that. And if people felt a ways about that, there was a whole bunch of them, then find another alternative. But apparently, according to what he told me, him and Task Red and Nobly was doing most of the work, so everybody was comfortable with them doing the work. So good, let them do the work. I don't have to worry about this, that, the next, and be responsible for nothing. And then when stuff happens to him, oh yeah, he was smoking, he was this. I said, well, where were you when all this was happening? Because he was helping you all do your stuff. You had the computers, you had the this, you had the that. So, okay, so now you don't see the connection. Like up here, even though it's legal in Canada, they have what's called the Stampede, which is similar. It's like a festival. And they told people already they can bring the weed into the Stampede, but they can't smoke it because it's like a family environment. So they said, if you want to smoke, you have to leave and smoke outside, but you're not smoking up in their event. They want to keep it a family. So again, they're concerned about what? Their image.
Chief,
yes,
did you ever have you ever spoke with Min Waab directly concerning if he have a habit or a particular problem where he uses cannabis to help?
Yeah, that was the meeting we had. We all spoke because he used to be EMT. So I know they have the problem with the first responders, people who work in the ambulance, they have to pick up people. So I said, I get why you're doing, because it's the trauma day in, day out, seeing somebody hurt, somebody in pain, seeing blood. I said, yeah, that's traumatic. So I got that. But the thing is, if it's beyond the point where everyone else who's there who doesn't do it is saying that this is chronic, that would have been say, hey, you need to let that go. You can assist people, but you can't run an office. Hey, you need to go find yourself, get some counseling, what have you. That's why I said all the other people there are guilty, because all this would have came up and said, hey, what are you doing for counseling? What are you doing to help heal, right? I've done healing fires for them to send energy down there, and that he's been aware of that. So what's happening where he's at now, they said there's no running water in the jail, the food, you know, they have to go wait till they go outside to use the bathroom. That's a purge. So he's getting his purge.
Chief, what I recognize is people who have been hurt in different ways, whether it's through an organization or through growing up, you know, family disruption, whatever. They seem very vulnerable and always looking for a way out. And for the little time I've been spending in the 2 times I've visited the office, what I could say is that just by your action, the personality that you share and express, particularly with Min Waab, I see he feeds off of that very heavily. And I mean, I remember hearing him make a remark saying,
you're breaking up.
I am the chief good. He said, I am the chief good. That's the internet. Yeah, I remember Min Waab making a statement saying, he and the chief is good.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling, the reaction I get is that a lot of things he's doing that you're comfortable with it. I mean, I don't know if it has anything to do with smoking. And it gives him a certain amount of power.
Yeah.
And not just present power in terms of the position he is in. It's sort of a boosts his ego based on his personal character. And apart from that, the things that the way you speak, right? It's very powerful, and he absorbs a whole lot like that. And things that probably affect him in his past. In 1 or 2 little things I heard him make remark is like, when he gets in that position of power, what he's going to exercise.
Yeah, I've heard him say, I haven't had it been confirmed.
I need to ask you a question. Have you at any time...
Hold on 1 second. I've heard him say this, and I don't know how true it is because again, nobody's really validating it, or somebody has been mentioned. I think a Dumel made a statement to the effect that Min Waab was saying, "I don't give a fuck about anybody's feelings, even the chief." I don't know if he said "fuck the chief." Is that true, or he didn't say "fuck the chief"? Or
he didn't mention you in that statement.
Okay,
he didn't mention you at all in that statement. No.
Okay.
It's not anything to do with you.
Okay, so nobody else said it. He didn't say anything else to that degree. But he was saying, "I don't care about anybody's feelings, not even the chief." Something to that effect. He never said that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So again, the thing here is, we had a meeting regarding that, and I made it very clear to everybody. And I told Min, same thing to Min Waab, so he knew. I said, if I hear complaints from people down there about how he's acting, he knows he's gonna get a call from me. So I already put the checks and balances in there. So therefore, the people were there to act as a counterbalance to him, regardless of my how I carry myself about, right? Because you can't be somebody. He can emulate that, but again, there's an area and a realm of, you have to have self-control. You have to acknowledge what I say, the planes of existence. And so he's only been maybe the last 6 or 10 months, barely a year, and he just now got into training. And I find out with quite a few people, they get the information, and it's more than me. It's a matter of the people's ego, and I guess however their projection is of me. However their projection is of me, they want to supersede whatever they thought I was. I'm here, then they're like, okay, well, I gotta be higher than him. And I'm like, hey, go ahead, go for it. I said, I know by experience what type of suffering and what type of pain that's going to come along with that. So it's only when people start wanting to ascend higher than they are equipped or trained to, is when they start feeling stuff. And then the first thing they want to do is, oh, he abandoned us. I said, no, you went and did something in the spiritual realm and broke the protocol. I cannot get involved with that. Just like he did the guy who he was helping, who went and laid down after we did when they were doing the ritual down there, he avoided him. So he's responsible for his own actions. So continue, I'm listening.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff. You know, Chief, I haven't witnessed the power behind the documents that you have been helping process. And in my little overstanding or understanding, I want to feel, let's say particularly with Min Waab, because he's the subject now, we haven't had any experience how our government or anybody taking this information, how they process it, how they, whether they accept it, whether they accept it for value, and they're going to put it as, you know, consider it. But maybe he have it in him because of the power that you have, was to do all this work, that this is valid, and he is not a child.
Not a what?
Slave.
I can't hear you. You skipped. Are you there?
You have the right to your own land and to do certain things, maybe because you're not contracted. Maybe hence the reason he probably have been acting certain ways, because of that power that he probably perceive that he have.
Agreed.
We have not, this is, Chief, I have 7 questions to ask you. I don't know if you're ready for them.
I'm ready.
My first question, has there been any response from any corporation, whether governmental or private, in reference to the indigenous standing process, statutory declaration, from the very first time it was done? And if could you tell me how long was that? Like the process was done, the year, etc., by you, Chief Nanya-shaabu?
2007.
Okay, it was done in 2007. That
Well,
is
I
just
did my statutory declaration in 2007. We started doing the webinars in 2016 because people were doing SF-181s. I was showing them, and then some people were doing it wrong. So I said, here, what, let me just come on and do this and show people how to do it properly so nobody messes it up for people in the future. So that was the main reason why on Mondays, I do the webinar to guide people. So this way they know that they're going to get it done properly. I have a brother in our nation. He's in Lenape territory, which is called the state of Maryland. He got a letter from the Attorney General of Maryland, which he published on Facebook, where they recognized him as his indigenous appellation, Ahanu Wajibe. I have everyone that graduates that they get a certificate from me. Facebook changes their Facebook name, which is the debtor. They'll change it to their indigenous appellation and use the certificate that they get from me as evidence of a legal name change. So my the document that I issue for everybody to get their name changed on Facebook, which Facebook accepts as a legal document, that right there is in further proof that not only is it Facebook, it's international. So when I issue the certificates and people can change their Facebook name and Facebook says, here, upload us a legal document, there it is.
okay, so you're using that validity from Facebook.
Oh, of course.
So has there been any other direct confirmation from any organization, whether it's governmental or private?
I got an invitation from the government of Canada back in 2013 regarding the UPR report that I did on them. That's published on my Facebook page. If you go to my notes, you do a search, Atsikata invited by Canada, and it should come up. I got an email from them. I got an email from the Prime Minister of Canada at the time, Stephen Harper. That was December 24th, I think that was 2011. I got the screenshot on Facebook. The current Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, emails me every now and then asking for money. The former minister, the Minister of Canada Border, the Minister of Public Safety, Ralph Goodale, he sends me emails. The Prime Minister of Canada's wife sends me emails. I got an email from the United Nations last summer to apply for the chair of the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, which I sent in my CV and an application, which that is published, was on Calameo. You might find a copy on Scribe. Some other people may have put it on their Calameo page. And definitely I had put that published on my Facebook. So if you do a search, you'll probably find that as well on Facebook. Let's see, who else is there? I got a letter from the Organization of American States. This is back around 2010. I got a letter from the previous Minister of Canada Public Safety. I got a letter from him. That was around 2009 through the mail. Our nation has been invited. We got recognized by the Human Rights Council. On my CV, I have a list of the invitations that we have gotten in the past in my curriculum vitae. That's what CV stands for. So that is if you put in Chief Nanya CV to UN in the Google search, that should come up. Oh, okay, so I just put that here in the chat. Let me just double click on this here and I'll share the screen here so you can see it. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the email to, this is the EOSG 2018 at Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights. This is where I had to send my curriculum by, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the email. These are all the witnesses who saw me send in my CV to apply for the job. I wasn't expecting to get it, but the fact that they emailed me and asked me to fill out an application to me was very significant. So I sent that off. And then as you can see, here's my background. We accepted Human Rights Pledge. We accepted UN Day of Indigenous Peoples. We accepted the Pope's Apology, the UNDRIP, May 2007 SF 181, the Indian and Northern Affairs Canada Treaty Text, Rothschild Money Trust. Okay, so let me just sit out here. So that's my background. Okay, active claims, active liens. Let me see here. Recognitions. Okay, so here when we look at recognitions, this is the UN published the 15 reports from our nation. So if you click on that, that'll take you to the search page and you can see the reports that we submitted to the UN. This is the OMB, Office of Management and Budget, acknowledges our response to the inputs on the SF 181 because they wanted to change, they wanted to take the definition of white with, person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East and North Africa. What they wanted to do was take the Middle East and North Africa and create a fifth or sixth race. But what happened was we complained about that, so they haven't changed it. Barack Obama, this is a member of our nation. He wrote Barack Obama responded to him, to his letter that he sent. So this is an actual letter he got from the White House, signed by Barack Obama. This is our recognition by 2 academic scholars for our UPR submission that we did against the United States of America. That's Dr. Clyde Molefe, Dr. Ledbetter Jr., Molefe Asante, and Dr. Clyde Ledbetter Jr. And the book is called Contemporary Studies of Africology and Africana. This is us recognized as a stakeholder under the civil society organization at the UN. This is Office of Personnel Management, OPM references our nation in one of their documents.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Is this the return email from the different stakeholders that reply to your information, or this is your collection?
No, this is the publishing. Some of them were emails, some of them are their links where they published. Or
So
will
this,
scan,
all this is information that they publish and you just put all the links here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you see scribe, generally when it's a scribe document, it's something that we scanned, where they emailed us, they responded, said, thank you for your response, thank you for your submission. And we scanned that along so people could see their response plus what we sent them. So for example, here, if you see where it says UPR website acknowledges Atsikota Nation as an NGO, that's the link here. So when you see www.upr-info.org, that's the UN website. And you see scribe is a data upload. And so then over here on the UN submissions and related publications, some of them are UN websites, and then some of them are the responses we got where we scanned the response from them saying, thank you for your submission. For example, UN communication received letter for UN NGOs requesting information, the implementation to resolution with respect to missing persons. That was in 2017. Attendance by Set Tauret and Nanya-shaabu at the UN on Nanya-shaabu. That's a bunch of pictures where they had a event for a permanent forum on indigenous issues. And so Sa was there and Nanya-shaabu was there. Accreditation letters that I had to draw up for Nanya-shaabu for attendance at the 8th session on minority issues. So this is like 19 pages of, or is it 18? I think it's 18, right? Yeah, it's 18 pages, or 19. Yep, 19, all right. So 19 pages for my CV. This has been published over a year. So this is the background of my work. So when I have all this here and somebody like Min Waab is just coming up thinking he can just walk into the UN like that with the situation that he created, that's delusional.
Sure.
So you have it in there, you can click that, and it'll open up into a separate tab on Nanya-shaabu's page in the chat, and then you can download it, and you can, or you'll be able to download it, but you can watch it, or you can actually bookmark it. But if you want like a hard copy, I think Nanya-shaabu might have a hard copy from me. If not, you can get that from me. I can send you the hard copy email.
Sure.
Next question.
In regard to people getting on the webinar from Kairi in Trinidad here, have you ever requested a certificate of good character from anybody?
A certificate of what?
Good character.
Oh,
okay.
Character. A certificate of
good
character.
In Kairi and well, in Trinidad, here in the corporation here, whenever you're going for a job or interview, whatever, they request at least 3 pieces of references, like from a police station within your district, a school teacher, or principal of the school you last visited, or your pastor or priest in your area from a church as such, who knew you growing up as such. Have you ever requested any of those documents from people here on Kairi before they join the webinar?
No, but that's definitely that's something unique, and in light of the current situation, that may have to be something that may be implemented. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
Okay, question 3.
Yeah,
have you ever published a copy of the Constitution of the Atsikata Nation or Clan of Yamasimo's, where there's a Facebook family, etc.?
Yeah. It's on, it's been on the internet.
I tried searching to get one, I couldn't find it.
And if it's not, because Calamio had taken down my set, but I know others who I gave it to told them to put it up. So if it's not up there, then I can always email that to you. Oh no, that's a questionnaire.
Part of the reason for asking that is I was looking at one of these certificates that you issued, and it was saying it was done in accordance with the Constitution of the Atsikata.
Yep. So here, what? I'll just send that to you right now. Oh, I gotta go. Yeah, let's see. That's why Constitution.
But have you ever mailed it out to anybody here on Kairi so they can know generally what's in it?
I'm trying to think here. It was in one of these. I don't think anybody, I'm not sure if anybody asked. I don't think anyone ever did ask, because I had it on my Calamio page. And then Calamio took my webpage down, all the documents I posted on Calamio, they took that down, what, 2 months ago? So we're gonna be putting together a website, so it's gonna be there. My Constitution. Go ahead, next question. I'm just looking for it. You go ahead.
Okay. What is the criteria do you use in choosing a cacique or chief of a founder nation?
What is the criteria for choosing a cacique? I don't really choose them. That's something that, like this situation with Kairi was kind of unique. And so one of the things we want to establish, and that's what we were in doing, was being able to, for them to assert their self-determination and have a guide in the same time, where eventually they manage their own affairs and they wanted actually to join our nation. So the concern with this current situation that occurred. I was not happy with what happened, more so with the people of Kairi, because a lot of them already knew the situation with the cannabis, and that was unacceptable. I mean, especially in light of them watching all the videos and everything that I've been doing. So it was like, there's no way that, there's no way that they're going to sit there and think that I would tolerate something like that. Yet it happened.
Well, in my view, I mean, I don't even know if I'm qualified, but from looking at maybe videos or movies based on real life events, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I would think somebody who plays that, who acts in that role, has to be, of course, articulate, well-sound mind, be able to influence people, you know, publicly, a good team player.
Yep.
And somebody who listens well and able to
It's hard to find people that listen.
I mean, if you're a leader of any organization and it has to do planning, one has to be able to be a good listener. And for me, for any spawning group or organization, rather than choosing somebody without the experience of their personality or character, whoever seems to fit the role, I think it should be accompanied by other supporters, like how we have the president, have a presidency, we have a member of the armed forces, a member of the protective services or church organization, whatever. So at least it'll be well-rounded in making certain decisions.
Well,
and, it should be like a council. It shouldn't be just an individual person if you don't know much about the character. So it should be a group effort.
Yes, and that's what was going to happen. That was what was going to happen. They were in the process of putting their declaration together with everybody. And so that's why I was working with them on that. And so when this situation occurred, I said, okay, now why would you put all of that at risk for that situation? And so then after this happened is when I'm hearing, oh, he's a chronic smoker. I said, but I asked him this in front of everybody. So even after everything happened, everybody was supposed to say, yo, man, Min Waab is still smoking. Then I would have said, no, man, you can't be doing that. Do you hear where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So when you talk about it's a group effort, this was discussed at the meeting that we had. This is before you even were aware of this. And we stated this specifically. And everybody here who's all quiet knows this. That's why they're not really saying much, because they were supposed to be participating in that. And by doing such, if there's things that are not right or out of line, they were supposed to notify me. So since that never happened, why this is currently happening now, to me, is aside from the ancestors, is like, yeah, these people who are talking this, they want it, but they're not really living it. So this is a proof positive of that. So you can't set up a council and this is what we were going to do. So you can't set up a council, and this is another reason why this occurred. So I said, yeah, I'm putting him in charge. And I asked them, is he your chief? And every one of them said yes. True or false, everyone? Come on, talk. Let him know.
Well, I must say the brother has some potential. In the little time I've been around him, I didn't know him too well. He has the potential, and he's very brave. He's sharp, you know, picking up certain things, you know, and, you know, but one little experience I had 1 week after that last meeting. This is me personal, one incident I had. Now, in the last meeting, the discussion, part of the discussion was the Kairi's motto, those words that was put in together, right? And apparently part was already decided, and I think they say it was sanctioned by UK or something like that. But because of the short time I was there, I didn't get time or a chance to really participate in the wording as such, you know, and how it reached out to people depending how they word it. So I told his sister to send me an email. That was Tasret. Send an email so I look at the words and see, you know, if I had a chance to participate, how I would have, what would have been my input. So when I reached home, I saw the email and I look at the wording and I saw some areas, some words that could have been changed to make it sound a little more international. So I made my little input and I stood there for maybe an hour and a half and I said, let me send it to Min Waab. So you'll see what my input would have been. The following day, calls me on the phone and said, what is this? I said, what? He said, you sent me an email? I said, yes. I said, well, I didn't have a chance to participate. It was a short time when you all mentioned that the motto was being done and it was sanctioned, but I didn't get a chance. So I told the sister to email me so I can go through it and see how it could have been different. So I said, this is my input. So he said, well, you know, it's not valid. I said, yeah, I know. I told him I just took the time and go through it to see what my input would have been like. And he said, okay. He said, but you was there in the meeting? I said, yeah. And you listened and you heard that we said that this was already sanctioned. I said, yes. He said, so why you send me that? I said, but I just explained to you. And he told me, don't F with him. This is my first experience with him. And he said,
told you what?
He said, you don't know me. He said, ask Nanya-shaabu about me. You understand? He said, you see me? He said, you hear what I'm saying? I said, I listening. He said, and I don't care about nobody. So that had me shaken up. This is my first incident hearing something like that from somebody in that position. And I was on my work duty when he called. So I couldn't speak much. There was a lady, my client was with me. So it had me shaken up for a little bit. So I said, if this is the nature and character of this guy, he cannot be a leader. It's particularly to be my chief, somebody who is leading me and influencing me, directing me, taking instructions from you, but acting on his own in that way. So I said, he must have somebody to care. You have to care about his mate, his children or something. So that had me shook up for a couple of days. And then the night of the 25th, that's before the Atumre's birthday or anniversary, as they call it. I stood by, I did some meditation and some prayers sent out to the ancestors. And a whole bunch of information came back. And I didn't feel good about it at all. And I said to myself, this can't be real. This can't be, this organization, or whatever we call it, is in the embryo stage. This is in the beginning hatching stage. And I can't be hearing something like this and continue. So I sent Nanya-shaabu a text, maybe about 10 inches long of information. And I told him exactly how I felt and what information came to me and everything. And I said, tomorrow, the 26th, I'm not going to drumming session and I'm not going to any function or any activity there until further notice. I text him that very, very early in the morning or probably late in the night. And lo and behold, he was going through something very similar in his spiritual mind as his mental. And he called me and tell me, you need to come by me and tell me something. I said, what? He said, last night those guys, Min Waab, etc., get locked up. I said, what? So all that energy I was feeling stemming from that incident just kept billing and billing and billing until we heard that. And I said, I'm not going to do anything until I know the fate of where this is going. I'm not going to do nothing. All I sent in, all I published is the affidavit of facts. And people's ego started to raise and move ahead of them. So here I am tonight in this meeting, in this conference call. And I said, I am stuck. I have nowhere to go forward until I know the fate of where all this is about. I want to see this real. I want to see the reality of this. I want to see. It must be song, right, reason. I want to see something happening real. And as Atume taught me, question everything. There's some things don't need to be questioned because it's obvious. But what you don't know, what doesn't making sense, what not adding up, it's not summing up to a thing, question everything. And that have been my quest. To know the fate of where this is going.
Where who is going, or what is going?
This organization is going. This on Kairi.
Oh, you got to ask them that.
Given all the documents that have been published, how it's been accepted, how it's been processed, if it's been considered. Because I was reading an article published sometime in 2018 concerning 3 indigenous groups in Trinidad and Kairi here. 3 indigenous groups that the government of Trinidad and Tobago recognize. And they have days of activities and whatever. They have rallies and the police assist them in the streets and whatever. But they are considered, for what I read, citizens. And they are dealing with them according to the Constitution as it was written in the document, guided by the UN on indigenous people. But I don't know if there is any particular information concerning indigenous people in our Constitution, or if it's generally being guided by all our rules and regulations and laws as they have it in Trinidad and Tobago. So those people are being recognized, but they are citizens. And from the information that published with the help of you through these brothers here, it's saying that you're no longer citizens, you're no longer chatted slave, you're no longer contracted with the corporation. You're a free person, first indigenous, autochthonous person, and you're reclaiming your rights. So here it is, as I'm asking you directly, where do I stand in all this information? I'm just speaking about myself. Everybody else know, I know they know what to ask. Where do I stand here with all this process information that has been published, posts, whether email, fax, whatever? What is the response, if any at all, from Kairi here, our Trinidad and Tobago government, in recognition to all this documentation and how we're moving forward?
What step in the process are you on? You still doing an affidavit, or you're fat?
All I did is an affidavit of facts. That's all I did.
Okay, so have I proofed that yet?
Come back?
Have I proofed it for you?
Yes, I already published it on Calamio.
Okay, so your next step after that is the notice of default, because you emailed that, correct?
Correct. I have the notice of default document in preparation.
Okay, so you have to check when your 10 days, the 10 days for the Sabians is up, and once their 10 days is up, you notify me, and then your notice of default is done. I can proof that before the time is up. The chances of the time might already be up. Then you email them that. After you've emailed them that, You give them another 10 days, and then that's it. It's your certificate of commercial dishonor. And then once that's done, you do a video for that to show that you contacted the Sabians and they stayed silent.
Yeah, I'm aware of those processes, Chief.
Okay.
My concern is the documentation and the authenticity in the terms of the government in the country here in which we reside.
Yes.
How they are acknowledging this documentation and acting in accordance with the information on it. Seems as is a legal document, is certified as a.
Okay, well, Dr. Keith Rowley, because of the situation with Venezuela, stated that they are not going to get involved in Venezuela because at the behest of the United States. He said this a couple months back, and he said, we're going to honor the UN Charter. And he said, so even if the US is upset with us because they had a CARICOM meeting and apparently Trinidad was snubbed and Trump didn't want to talk to Dr. Keith Rowley and all that stuff. So the fact still remains that the fact that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago would mention the UN Charter, specifically Article 55 and 56 of the UN Charter, and he mentioned that we're going to honor that and not get ourselves involved in the internal affairs of Venezuela, is proof that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is honoring international law. So by doing that and hitting the US with it, the old saying is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're going to use the UN Charter against the United States to say, hey, we're going to stay in compliance and not get involved with the, we're not going to get involved with the invasion, because that's essentially what it is of the US in Venezuela, then they're honoring international law and respecting that, you know. So the Regina versus Ja case talks about the issue of Elizabeth II not being crowned as queen. So this gives an advantage now that all the public officials are aware that Elizabeth II is a fraud, her contract is fraudulent, and as such, that opens up a lot of things, being that Trinidad falls under, they use British law. So in terms of what's the government's response, that's not really something to be particularly worried about, because the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, Trinidad and Tobago is one of the countries that voted in favor of it. There was only 4 countries on the planet that were against it, and that was Canada, the United States, New Zealand, and Australia. So the right of self-determination is a right. We don't need recognition. Now what they'll do is they'll pit indigenous peoples against each other. So some say, hey, we're recognized by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We don't need the recognition because they're a corporation. This is where the business and the law merchant aspect comes into play, which a lot of people don't talk about. Everything is a corporation. All the countries are actually companies, which are corporations. So they've already been aware, talking about the government of Trinidad and Tobago from Min Waab's, when he did his SD, and Nanya-shaabu did his SD, and others have done their SD. They already are aware of that. They're aware of the Regina versus Ja. They're aware of the race and ethnicity identifications. So that's not something I would be concerned with. Well, what is their response going to be? Their response is typical. They're a corporation. They can't speak to the living.
Sure, but Chief, acknowledge that, accept that for value. But unless the judiciary hasn't gotten, unless they get orders from on top, and we are on the charter from England, they have no reason to act any way differently in connection with what we do.
Well,
if they get, they're not going to, I mean, I don't see they giving up any position, right?
It's not about giving them up. This is about pointing out the fact that it's been confirmed in a court in England that Elizabeth II is a fraud. that's a precedent-setting case. And being that Elizabeth is still considered, even though Trinidad likes to front that they're independent of the United Kingdom, you know, people overlook subtle things like, why does the Prime Minister of Trinidad every year go over to the United Kingdom? Because Trinidad and Tobago does not have independence in the terms of freedom. We don't have to answer to the UK. No, what it is they're like, we want the money from the country, we'll bleed you, but you guys run it, you guys handle all the expenses, all the drama, all the problems. All we want is the profits. Other than that, you report to us for the profits, everything else, you guys handle those internal matters. And that's the bottom line.
Sure, I'm aware of that, because that's the reason why they set up the corporations all over the world anyway. It's to reap the money benefits from whatever they set up. I know that. What I actually say, Chief, in a plain and simple, is unless the corporations get information from on top to acknowledge this or do this or yes, whatever. I mean, I don't see it logical for people on Kairi who has gone through the process to be walking around with a bunch of documents that some of these policy holders, police, don't even know about it. I mean,
no, they know about it because Min Waab was on the show and talked to Sarji, and Sarge admitted that they know about the Regina versus Jock case and said they were reviewing it. And then 2 weeks later, there was that shooting involving, I think, the girl. And so they weren't taking questions. And then he was gone, that Sarji was gone, and he was replaced with another Sarji. And I got the audio from Min Waab for that. So they already know. And the fact that case was used and is part of people who are going to the doing their statutory declaration, for example, they'll send that off to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. He already has that. That's why when Min Waab and everybody went up, where is the place there you all went for the Prime Minister, and you all were there dressed up?
Five Rivers Secondary School.
Yes.
Yeah.
You all went there, you all dressed up, and the Prime Minister was going to meet with you all. And then something happened. There was an interruption, and there was a breach in protocol by interrupting the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And then what happened was they were supposed to meet, and they didn't stand the national anthem, which is according to Trinidad statute against the law, that's an arrestable offense. And they all sat down, and he didn't say anything about that. So, and then they made attempts to meet with the Prime Minister as per his agreement. They met with the MP. They never got a response back, which I told them, don't be surprised, you know, don't worry about it because you're alive, they're dead. So what's being revealed is that people who are in the public office, people who work for the government, public officials, they are extensions of a corporation. So you don't really need their recognition or any of that because their own definition says that they're artificial. So if they're working for a company and the company or the corporation or the government agency is considered artificial, that means the people who work for it are artificial by extension. So they're not doing the work of a human flesh and blood being, they're doing the work of an artificial entity that's fictitious.
To acknowledge. But don't you think that they should have something should be done in the form like an ID rather than a bunch of documents to walk around with, that'd be more practical?
That will be in time. People first have to learn, they have to learn their statutes.
So what you're saying is important to have the documents to produce it to them so that
Yes.
it can spread, so everybody will have an idea what it concerns, and then that will come in after?
Yes, because the thing was, we were looking at kind of fast-tracking Kairi at the time, and then you would have to join. So now I've said, okay, we're going to have to do it the other way, where you have to join a nation, and then when there's enough, for example, down in Kairi, then it would be like, okay, that is part of Atsikata, but they're down there on Kairi, versus Kairi Autochthon Assembly, because I just thought it was more convenient to do it with the acronym KA versus trying for people to come join Atsikata and then go back that way. So I said, okay, well, they're all working together, great. This is, they're accomplishing things, they're doing precedent-setting things, great.
Okay, so what you're saying, after all that processing, that's when the Atsikata Nation going to step in terms of you making that link with Kairi?
No, Kairi's got to make the link with us. They already had their opportunity with Min Waab and with everyone that was there. And so now that I see that they weren't going to say anything, they weren't going to intervene, they weren't going to stop the train wreck, now it's like, no, now you're going to have to join us. So if Min Waab and the rest of them want to do what they want to do, I'm still the centerpiece of his stuff, because anything happens, he'll need my validation. So he still can't stand on his own without me validating the paperwork that he got from me. So it's quantum checkmate.
Tua. Next question is, what's the reason?
The Constitution off to Amen and to Adum so they can forward it to you.
Say that again, Chief?
The Constitution, our Constitution. So I forwarded it to you and to Amen because I didn't want to interrupt the elder while he was speaking. So so you make sure that he gets it.
Yes,
and
Chief.
so I know that you sent it to him and he got it. Thank you.
Yes, Chief.
Go ahead, elder.
Yeah, next question. What is the reasoning for wearing white cultural wear?
Well, oh, the reason for white? Oh, it's quite simple. White is what the color the angels wore. That's the white is the color the prophets wore. White is the color that the Ethiopians to this day wear. White is the color that the Tamarians wore. That's white power.
Okay, because the reason I asked that, I was reading part of something the master teacher wrote, and he was mentioning that back in the day in ancient Kemet, white used to be used at funeral ceremonies, funeral rites.
Yeah, we wore white at funerals.
So it just came to my mind, you know, we wear white, and what was the significance? Because he mentioned is we wear white at funeral ceremonies to honor the dead.
And the angels wore white. So I guess the angels, when they come visit men down here and they wear white, they're honoring the fact that the people on this plane are dead, I guess.
Okay. Tua. Well, I don't know if you already answered this last question, but I think you already answered it. But the question was, what will it take for us to move forward? I believe you mentioned you expand on that already.
Well, what is it? Like, I mean, what is it that you all are offering? Your word is not sufficient enough anymore. So you all have to come up with something more than that. And I want to emphasize this to everybody. For the people who are going through the process, you're not cut out. So understand this, you're still going forward. That doesn't block you out. What I'm saying though is, as a group from what was established before, that's over. So now, as far as Kairi, Atak, and Assembly is concerned, that is dead as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay.
That's why the first thing I told Tasret was our flag comes off, because I told Min Waab, here what, I'll put the flag, I'll give you our flag, you put our flag on your declaration. And so when you get your declaration notarized, they'll show that there was a nation outside of Trinidad that recognized you all. That's what has to happen. But now that he went and did this, no, our flag comes off, everything's on ice now.
Tua. Chief, you ever, you know about a lady, she seems to be leper looking, but she's very much into African awareness and blackness or whatever. Her name is Jane Elliott. Have you ever listened to her?
Yeah, I know who Jane Elliott is. I've done 5-day comments on that. And like I said, I give her credit insofar as that aspect of his history of who came from who. However, for someone who speaks English, she has not really gone to the source and the foundation of the modern English language, because the word black means to make pale, and that's from the old Anglo-Saxon or old English language. And she's not telling black people they're actually white as per the integrated post-secondary education data system. She's not getting into the language. Black means to make, she's not touching none of that. None of the people, not her, not Nikki Giovanni, not Asata Shakur, not Cornel West, and he has the SF-181 document. He's aware of that, and he refuses to write a letter of endorsement. Who's the other one? Dr. David Imhotep, which I spoke with for 5 hours. He wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans. I spoke with him for 5 hours, and then he bought Dr. Cress Welsing. That's where leper supremacy came in. And she said, if anyone has a better definition of white supremacy, give it to me. So I did leper supremacy. I had 3 brothers in Maryland when she was at Howard University. This is one of her last lectures, and the brother got in early, put it in her hands before she started the lecture. Then he asked her, why are we calling ourselves black? We should not be calling ourselves black. She started squirming in her chair. So that's when I realized, oh, Howard University, she's a PhD, so that means she's part of a fraternity. So therefore it goes back to what Stephen Coakley was talking about with the gay boule or with the black boule. So I said, okay, there we go. So these black people out here are nothing but overseers, period. They're not trying to, I'm telling people flat out, what do you want to do? I want to dismantle and bring this matrix down and build Egypt. That's it.
But Chief, you know, there's a big issue that people are addressing it, yes, but it's the issue of skin color. I mean, you can have all the statutory declaration, you can have your declare yourself from being a chattel slave or whatever. But when you walk the street, like Nanya Dumel's, this dark color with that total lip and nose and hair, no one is going to, like a police or whatever, they're not looking at you and want to ask you, could I see your ID? You get attacked just for how you're looking, that shade of color, knowing
this is why,
you're of African descent. How is that going to change? How is that perception going to change?
Great question. Where the mind is, the body will follow. So there isn't a black person on this planet that can defend being black. And anyone here in Kairi can take any one of them on just off of their SF-181 alone. So what is the issue? The issue is you don't control the imagery that comes out of Hollywood. You don't control, even when they went to that school the next morning, they had all of them up front in their indigenous garb, and then what was underneath, gunman, and they put the picture like right up underneath their picture. So if somebody takes a blink, they'll think these guys dressed in wearing feathers in white was gunmen. They said gunman, but there's 4 of them. And then underneath that was a special for KFC in Trinidad. You get a bucket of chicken for $69. This is on the front cover. So I've been telling people, and this is another reason why, you know, Kairi's not really in good standing with me right now. I said all the old Calypso artists like Blue Boy, Mighty Sparrow, etc., they could take any one of them Calypsos and make a meme and put the definition of white in the definition. Kairi's not doing it. So if you're not going to change the symbol that is being put out, then yeah, of course that's what's going to happen. However, the way that I've been instructing people to conduct themselves, you can't look like a regular Negro or somebody from the island. You have to look different. You have to stick out, because they know a black kid or somebody down there that is acting a certain way or dressed a certain way. They're going to approach them. They'll deal with them a certain way. If you look indigenous, they're not going to approach you like that, because they know, okay, this person is sharp. They're very collected. They're going to do that regardless of, you know, the amount of corruption going on. And I've told people already, they got to start importing the spiritual world into what they're doing. And this is why it's very difficult to explain to people who have not done an SF-181, well, how's this going to change? And I said, yeah, it's going to change. Well, they're just going to look at you and bust you upside your head. I said, well, first of all, you're not going to be putting yourself in a position to allow them to do that. First thing. Second thing, you're not going to be looking like everybody else. You're going to be standing out and dressed differently, looking cultural. Because when you look cultural, these Amorites, even the corrupt people down there, they're going to respect you. It doesn't matter if they like you. This isn't about being liked. This is about respect. They're going to respect, okay, he stands for something. Nanya-Dumel's wearing a choker. He's dressed in white. Okay, something's different about him. I've had trainees that drive truck, and they have an eagle claw around their neck when they go out, and everybody looks okay. And that's a very simple, nothing fancy. So people it's about your state of mind. If you, now knowing what you know, they've got black people complaining, shrinks the hippocampus. They're under mind control. They're being hypnotized. They've got them saying spells against themselves by calling themselves black, knowing full well their ancestors never called themselves black. And then that program is perpetuated by them repeating that to their children, their friends, their associates, etc. So this is what's going on. That's why the Nuwaubians and the Sabians can't get this, because they really didn't want to accept what Aksumite had to present to them. And so that's why when they wanted to come this way, I said, oh no, you ain't gonna come this way unless you do an affidavit for fraud. Because if you're not gonna stand up and call them out for what they're doing to the world, then the Akashic record is going to record that you had no objection.
What?
Let's see, Hasina. Yeah, Ganya, yeah, you can continue with your NOD. Nothing stops as far as individually, but as far as Ka is concerned, Ka is on ice. Ka is frozen. And when I set the stones out for everybody to see, right, it's already said that as far as Ka is concerned, breakups are more likely than reconciliations. Doesn't mean it will be. It's all, you all are the ones that dictate what y'all gonna do about it. I could provide remedy, but I'm not gonna do that because I gave everybody a remedy of how to deal with Min Waab and everything, and you guys failed. So now you all have to come up with something that I say, that's logical, I'll agree with that. I'm talking about Ka, I'm not talking about individual.
If I hear me?
Yes.
Chief, is it okay if all of us here know each other? It's okay if we stick together because we are all that we have.
I don't have I'm not concerned, I'm not objecting to sticking together. What I'm saying is, what are you all going to do to remedy the situation that if somebody was ever put in charge in the future, y'all are going to say something? Because you didn't do it. Min Waab is younger than y'all, and y'all sat back and said nothing. This is my point. And I let it be clear to Min Waab, and he knew too that, hey, if you act the fool, I'm going to call you, I'm going to drag you.
I know it is.
Oh yeah, wave your finger at Nanya-Dumel. He deserves it.
Yeah, let him go first.
Chief. Okay, I now get a couple of things from the detail that what we have to do moving forward as a group. If we have to do under the Asikat Nation of Yamasimos or under you, Chief Nanya-shaabu, we have to create a document, a constitution to govern ourselves properly down here. This is one of the things I got, Chief. So as I keep getting them, I'll just, before the night, continuing along, we will, I will tell you, Chief. I think that's one thing too, because we have to have guidelines, proper guidelines of how we govern ourselves moving forward with incorporating all your teachings and all the teachings of our ancestors as down here.
I think what would be more prudent would be I sent the Constitution, you all read our Constitution and follow that. before you all start trying to do your own constitution, because you've demonstrated your incompetence.
Right. Okay, Chief.
No problem. No problem.
Chief, as a part of the, Chief, I have a question with regards to the two brothers who went along and accompanied Min Waab, that we are, quote unquote, all of us are responsible because of our inactions and not
Your
telling
apathy.
what happened, what was happening. Chief, could we reach out to them, to their families, in terms of, because Amin and I started doing that, started reaching out to Sheldon Latouche's wife and giving her advice of things that could happen. They are in the realms of the Trinidad and Tobago Corporation statutes and codes and laws, right? Could we employ like, quote unquote, somebody who knows about those codes and to see how best they could assist the two of them?
What do you mean specifically?
Like getting an attorney or getting someone who knows the Trinidad and Tobago law, because we don't know it. And I was explaining to Amin, when I called Cardiff and I told them, I said, you need to consult or get a lawyer or an attorney to find out from them what is the situation that those brothers are in before so we'll know what to do.
Okay, you told them already.
I told Cardiff that.
Yes.
Right? And then I told him to get in touch with me. Say that again, Chief?
You haven't heard back from him since.
I haven't heard back from him.
That's it. His acquiescence is tacit consent and agreement. You told him, just like I told Tasra, here's what I'm not going to help, but this is what you need to do. That's it. Okay.
So like the similar, so Chief, are you saying the similar thing that Amin and I extended to Latouche's maid, and she's not responding to our request in terms of even calling you?
You don't want your help. You offer to help. Once you offer to help and they don't want to talk to you because they're listening nobly and Min Waab, that's it.
Okay.
You did what you could to try to make amends of that situation, and she wants to listen to him.
Yes. Okay, Chief. Tua.
Right. Everything that Min Waab, like I said, it just feels like a damn bad episode again of Star Wars, whereas here it is. Now, Darth Vader. But the thing that's sad about it is just like in Star Wars, everybody walked around they say, hey, I could sense this, the boy is trouble. Oh, he's not trouble. His future's just uncertain. And here's everybody saying, Chief, that's why a lot of times I don't even want to hear that stuff. Oh, Chief, I don't want to hear it because y'all was right there. So you allowed him via his ego, and that's why I said y'all let the devil bring it down. That's the same thing the Wabbings did with Action Ray. So, like I said, as a group, you all got to figure out what it is that you can say. Individually, yeah, you're still going forward. This doesn't stop you from doing nothing as far as your SDs, SCs, etc. That's going forward. Your affidavits, yes, that's all going forward. But as far as where Cobb was, that's on ice right now.
Chief, could I still go forward with my UCC with you?
Yeah, that doesn't stop that either.
Thank you. Tawa, Chief.
That doesn't stop anything. What I'm saying to everybody is that as a group of you all wanting to stick together, right, you're supposed to be doing a better job. Like if you see your brother or sister starting to, hey, you bring them back in line. And if they like, man, bug off, then guess who you appeal to? Who do you appeal to? If they're not going to listen to you and, hey, they're stepping out of line, this is not going to help us or look good, what do?
Appeal to you.
Say what?
Appeal to you, Chief.
Okay, now this is going to be what, like the third time y'all have said this? Right?
Chief.
Don't get silent on me. No, because I've been on here for 2 hours with y'all. we went through this to avert, I do stuff to avert drama, stress, and all of that. So when it's, what does it say sometimes in the Bible? It says, when you see that stuff, you snuff that out immediately. Otherwise, you allow it, that disagreeableness to fester and to grow. And you guys let it grow. So you can't blame Min Waab. Y'all knew, you didn't say nothing. No different than with the Nuwaubians. You didn't say anything. So as a group, yeah, y'all could stick together, but as far as me working with you all as a group, y'all have to come up with something significant. Individually, everything still goes forward, but as a group, y'all have to come up with something. What should I risk myself? Y'all have people down there that y'all know and couldn't say something to me to say, hold on, what's going on down here? Let's see. Hasina, are you there? Okay. So from now, because I'm here and talk from everybody. Talk don't impress me no more. From now on, if any member of Kairi is doing anything that I perceive to be wrong and is letting the nation look bad, which nation? It ain't making Atsikata look bad, it's making y'all look bad. Y'all are the ones that are looking bad in this, not me, not Atsikata. I will bring it to your attention. Example given when I had an issue with Min Waab and I brought it to your attention. Do you know he was smoking?
No. Chief, it's only once I saw him smoking, right? And that is the first time I went up in at the Atsikata for the meeting.
Yes.
When you see Hasina and her mother there, because remember we had to go up there to get we had an issue with communications.
Yes.
Right, and we had to go up there, right? And we ended up going up there. And it was the first time, and I didn't say anything chronic because we wasn't around him all the time. That was the first time we went up there, so we couldn't like to sit to complain and say, well, he always smoking and thing. That it's only one, so I didn't know about the all about that. But then as I say, it's all of us, one person on everybody, you understand, in the soup,
Yes.
Yeah, but
the ones who knew had a right to tell everybody else. Well, first of all, tell me. I call a meeting, we all deal with it like we did with it with him the last time. Everybody.
Yeah, but we didn't know he was a chronic smoker.
Pardon?
I say we didn't know he was like a chronic smoker.
I'm not talking about what you did not know. I'm
saying okay.
Called a meeting. And everybody was there. And we called the meeting and I said, okay, Hasina, if you don't like how Min Waab, and then I said, Min Waab, be a little nice to Hasina, remember? And then he laughed. So this is what I'm talking about. Y'all are responsible for that. For the ones that knew. The ones that didn't know he was a chronic smoker, how can you be held responsible? You didn't know. But the ones that was close, that would go up there, talk with him and everything, y'all knew.
Okay. Chief.
Yes,
we're supposed to be like as a nation, each other's keepers, right? So if I see somebody doing something wrong, let's say like my daughter, right, Hasina, if I see her doing something that is not like to say indigenous, I'm supposed to pull up her socks, right? And if I find she's still doing it, I'm supposed to bring it to the attention of everybody else. You understand? I would be like, everybody's supposed to know that. And then after that, if she's still doing it, we bring it to your attention.
Correct. Now, how is it y'all could get in this now and not before? When y'all grew up, what happened when you grew up? When you grew up, you did something wrong. Somebody in the street would see you and knew you, they beat you. Then they take you to your parents and say, hey, I catch your daughter doing such and such. She climbing the mango tree, stealing mango. What? She's stealing mango? And she'll beat you right in front of the person, yes?
Right.
So then you learned that you didn't know who was out there that knew your parents. So you knew to keep yourself what? In check.
Okay.
And I did that with you all for Min Waab, and y'all let him run wild.
Chief, let me tell you, I think you're always one of the problems too, right? All right, if I see like, let's say I see Armin do something wrong or whatever, I will see, I could tell him, I could bring it to Min Waab attention, right? But if I see like Min Waab do something, I will say, Min Waab and the chief, maybe they're talking about that issue and he will know about that. And then you think, when the first thing will say, like, if you tell anything, I could get off that process. in that sense, I can get you off that process if you're doing something or if you're making a complaint against me. You know, I think it's something like that happening.
Listen, it ain't about no snitching. It's about he know he ain't supposed to be doing it, or if he's doing it, hey, you keep that private to yourself. When people are coming up to the office to get stuff done, and you're coming within a time frame, he said you must come between this time and this time, cool. And when you're there, he shouldn't be smoking. But if I'm having a meeting and he's smoking, but I can't see it on camera, and y'all sitting there knowing he's puffing away, or Task Red is puffing away, and y'all telling me you're guilty. This is how you stop that type of stuff from happening. If you don't discipline a child, what is going to happen? The child is going to run wild. Did you watch that movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? No, Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
And it said you can't blame the child for being like that. You blame the mother and the father, because the mother and the father would not discipline the child.
And Chief, here what I think is supposed to happen, right? Like if like let's say like Amenhotep knows something like Adumel doing something wrong, or somebody know I doing something, or they see me doing something wrong, right? They bring it to my attention, and they bring it to the whole of the tribe attention. Instead of I don't have like a council form within everybody, but I don't know, have everybody maybe equal in position or something.
Yeah, not one higher.
So everybody.
I can accept that. You guys tender that. You all figure that out. I'm not figuring it out. I gave you all simple solutions. You didn't want to listen to me. So now you all on your own come up with that code of conduct. Bring that to my attention. And I say, yep, this is sound good. Now everybody's on the same page. So I have no problem with that. Are you there?
Yes, Chief.
No, Hasina, are you there? I think they got cut, so they might come back. Ganya, I think the first thing we must do is let Min Waab know we are not rolling with that kind of bullshit anymore, and we should give him the chance to come clean and fix his ego and weed problem, etc. Chief, are you revoking Min Waab's position as cacique? You all voted in favor for him, correct?
Yeah.
Don't get quiet on me. What's the matter, y'all?
Yep, Chief. Everybody voted.
I asked you all, is he your chief? What did you all say?
Chief, you said it. Chief, you put it this way. You said, I chose Min Waab to be the leader because he came through first. And then you ask the question, who do you all choose as your leader? Put it in the chat room. That's how that went. And
everybody chose who?
Min Waab.
So are you all satisfied with his conduct?
After that, no, Chief. Before that, no.
Did you communicate that to him?
I went up to the office about 3 or 4 times to do that. Every time I go there, the whole vibe is changed into just me getting a chance to talk that to him.
This is before you spoke to me.
Before I spoke to you, yes.
Yes, and then when you spoke to me, what did I tell you?
To call you anytime you find him doing anytime.
Anytime what?
You find him doing anything that he shouldn't do.
Did you do that?
If I did not call you,
give me as much time as you need to answer that.
Say that again, Chip.
I said I will give you as much time as you need to answer that.
No, you don't need much time, Chief. I didn't call you. I did not. I'm just explaining something, Chief.
Yeah, but I already know this. So this is why this part here is pointless. Like you trying to explain something to me. You told me this the last time that you felt you was being attacked. I said, look, if he's doing something wrong, I don't give a damn about that. You let me know, and I'll deal with him. I am the check. I am the keeping the one that keeps everything. Hey, that ain't right. No, we ain't having that. Y'all let the devil. I'll say it again. Y'all let the devil run that into the ground.
Chief, another thing, as we talk, another thing that Patrick is indigenous appellation is Nanya Desa Tihiturahel. One of the things that he was telling you is that it have the thing with the office / house together. Anytime I go,
that's irrelevant and immaterial because who is the one that gave the certificates? Me. Who's the one proof the documents? Me. So I don't care if it's his house. That's my reputation because now as soon as he ran into problem, the first thing comes out of his wife's mouth, oh, we're going to contact Chief. Chief is going to call the police station. If it was too much for him he can't smoke, then he shouldn't have took the position. But y'all, I said, I told him, I said, but if you got somebody else better, who is it? I'll support that. And everyone put in the chat, who?
Min Waab.
So now, you all voted for him. Are you in agreement with his conduct? Do you see this silence? It sounds like y'all in agreement with it. I ain't hearing nothing, nobody.
Yes, Chief. I not agree with his conduct, Chief.
So why is it taking you all so long to answer? I don't understand this.
Yes, Chief. My own? Yes. Chief, you see, after that, things really went haywire. You think when that's haywire, you think really get more after that meeting. After that meeting,
Which meeting?
it was more.
Which meeting, I mean, be specific.
The meeting that we had when we had voted him. When we had voted him in.
Yes.
The leaders. But after that, it got worse.
Yes, and did you tell me?
No, Chief. No.
So they're not interested in hearing anything I'm talking about. Tafulaat Min Waab is not interested in hearing anything y'all got to say. They're not going to listen to y'all. So I'm like, they can do what the hell they want. Y'all say y'all want to come with me. Now you're doing what I want, and what you're going to have to do first is read our Constitution. Second of all, you're going to have to explain to me what guarantees can you all give me that you're all going to stick to this, because that was Min Waab, whether you knew him a lot or not, y'all were working together and were vibing and getting stuff done, and you couldn't help him from going off the deep end. There was a time when Atumre was drinking a lot, and then a group of them in Bushwick had to come to Atumre and say, you drink it. He said, thank you for letting me know. At least I know you wouldn't let me go all the way off the edge. You let Min Waab get possessed, and now you see what the response is. So I don't want to hear when people talk about spirituality and ancestors and all that. Y'all were given the signs. Y'all weren't listening. So read our Constitution. Y'all meditate. You all like the idea that Jamila had. Write it down, Jamila. Send it off to everybody. And y'all decide what you want to do, because I don't think they really care about what I'm talking about. Min Waab, Tasret, Nobly, Cardiff, they don't really care what you have to say. They're ignoring the fact of why they got caught and are upset why you abandoned us. Negro, I told you not to have none of that on you. Did I or did I not say that?
You did.
So I said, what you do at your home, I said, I'm not going to get into that. This is just for the elder there next to you. I do melt to know. I said, whatever, that's your home. I'm not going to get in. However, your jalabia, your robe better not smell like no weed. So he knew what I meant by that. So that was it. Everybody knew. This is nothing. We're rehashing and going in circles. My thing is, You all have been instructed what to do. You have to give me a reason why I should work with you all. So I'll give you all time to, you know, have a meeting amongst yourselves. And yeah, people got to work. And that's part, I think that's part of the reason why, because he was doing the work and everybody was content to let him do the work. So he's like, okay, I'm doing all the work, proofing people's documents, doing the scans, doing the faxes and emails. So hell, I'll do what I want. You guys were content with it. Now look what happened. Ganya saying, okay, I think the first thing, okay, am I revoking Min Waab's position as Cacique? I'm not revoking, where's Ganya? I'm not revoking his position as Cacique. I'm not working with him because he's going to, obviously, he's at the point where he's going to do what he wants to do. So if I say, oh, you've been removed, what do you think he's going to do? What y'all think he's going to do? You think he's going to pay attention to that? Elder, you got your finger up. You're the only one talking. Go ahead.
Chief, you know, in reverse to what you just said, if you didn't revoke his position, or at least said, he's going to have it that he's still holding that position, and there are people probably who are looking up to him as the chief.
Now, who's the one that voted him in?
Well, I said from the beginning when I came in, he ain't my chief with that conduct.
I
because
accept that.
I got a little piece of that. And I said, he ain't my chief.
I accept that. Who
Right.
voted him in? I asked those people. Do you see what's going on here? This is why I keep looking at, this keeps recurring and they're not getting it. You are new, you just getting in and you're very vocal about your position and where you're standing. Yeah. All the ones who voted for him are not saying anything except Ganley, and Ganley was the one that said, hey, we could revoke him because I supported whose decision?
Chief, I could say something here?
Hold on, I want people to listen. Y'all got to damn listen. Who voted him in?
All of us.
All of us.
So I could remove him, but because of what happened and you all knew what he was doing, who's now responsible to remove him?
Us.
We who voted him in. We didn't, but we didn't know.
But Chief, as far as you're concerned, you move already, you know, we looking to go forward.
Because I said I'm not involving myself in that. And you all haven't said it. Okay, go ahead, Jamila.
Chief, when you talk, when they voted him in, you mean the night when you asked, when,
I put him in charge for this because he was the first one that did it. So, okay, and if there's anything wrong and he's doing something wrong, y'all will tell me. That's what I thought. I trusted you all to tell me, and y'all didn't say a damn thing. Now, here we are, and the elder is saying, well, the reverse should be that you remove him. I said, and that is an acceptable statement. However, who took responsibility? Because I asked everybody, is he your chief? And everybody said what?
Yes.
Yes.
Chief, well,
hold on. So tell the elder who's responsible really for removing him.
Us.
who voted him in how to remove him? Who?
Pardon?
That'll be who voted him in.
Okay, so whoever voted, and I supported whatever the vote was, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Correct.
And I said, great, now this situation occurs. I said, no, I gave all of you all, don't y'all just don't see, man. I pulled stones about whether to get involved. Make sure the elder gets those Nanya-shaabu mail so he can see the stones and you read the stones to him. Right? Make sure he gets the Urim and Thummim book. And I pulled the stones, and the last stone that I pulled was Bab. And Bab came up reversed. That's the gateway, the stone of non-action. And it came up reversed. And it said, hasty decisions may cause more problems than you are attempting to solve. So I said, I cannot get involved. That's done. And I made sure that Adumel and Min Waab and told them share it with everybody, so everybody got it. So if Ganya don't have it, you have to make sure he gets it. If Kivan doesn't have it, you have to make sure he gets it so they can keep the stones that I pulled. And I pulled the stones on the situation with those three, on whether to assist them, and then pull the final stone. So when you see that, you're going to see I already went to council on what the situation was. Now that I'm hearing, he's saying, well, him, we don't need him, da-da-da-da. So y'all are the ones that let the devil run wild. You're the ones that have to corral him now.
Great, Chief.
I'm not doing that. I told you what to do to prevent it, and you guys were neglectful. So don't be looking at me. Look in the mirror. Yes, go ahead, Elder.
Chief, what do you think that reason could be why something was mentioned to you?
Pardon?
What do you think that reason could be why some things was mentioned to you?
Fear, and I stepped in front of them to say, I don't care what Min Waab is doing. If it's not correct, you tell me. That was sending a message to Min Waab. If you act out, because I told everybody, this is why I explained that to you before, to everybody, and I say it on the webinar too. If you act a fool and you're going to be stupid or whatever, I'll throw you to these reptiles and watch them eat you. So don't play around. This is not no game. This is not no joke. So they all hold on. All those people there that Adumel, Amenhotep, they all knew what my position was before we even got to this point. So there was no surprise, no guesswork, no shock. They sat back and watched the boy go down, or watched the boy's ego get out of control, acting like there's nothing we could do. Meanwhile, every one of them got my email, my phone number. They can text me. They can message me on Facebook. They're seeing me do 5-day comments, and you can leave comments in the 5-day comments on the videos that I do on YouTube. So there's no excuse. They have no excuse. That's why they're staying silent. There's nothing that they can say. They allowed this to happen.
Chief,
I have no excuse, Chief. I have no excuse.
Yes, go ahead, Elder.
Chief, somewhere, apart from these brothers having no excuse, they didn't take the action at the time needed because of reasons that maybe you already mentioned. But at the same time, how did Min Waab react to you directly when you was aware by other brothers mentioning to you of his condition? How did he react to you when you confront him directly?
Oh, he got like, oh no, I don't have any problem. I don't have a problem. So my philosophy is very much being accepting. So you're saying you don't have a problem, and he is doing the work, but Adum El noticed that there's times where he would have lapses in judgment. He'd become erratic. So when Adum El told me this is a private call we had before we had the major meeting, and Adum El was there for that one, where it was Adum El, and there was a point where it was Adum El and Min Waab going back and forth. So everybody was there. So everything has been laid out on the table. Everybody knows this ain't no children we're dealing with here. This is all grown adults. Everything's been laid out on the table. I basically told Min Waab that, yeah, if you act screwed up, I will yank you. And he knew this, but it was dependent upon what? The people there reporting that to me. Then we give him the opportunity. Okay, why are you doing this, etc. That would have curtailed him. Instead, everybody stepped off and let him do what he wanted to do.
Chief, do you feel that he has your full respect?
I don't know at this point if he does my total respect. What the thing is, I think he thinks I'm a sucker because for what he did, he's jeopardized a lot of people in the process.
It seems that he started to get comfortable around you, Chief. And I mean, this is just online.
Yeah,
right?
But it doesn't matter if he's comfortable around me. That means he had all those people there under control, and he could do wrong and they won't say nothing. This is the same thing Acton Ray was teaching about corruption. And here it is, we're different. It's not the Min Waabians, and here it is, all those people that you know, all of them sitting next to you, with the exception of Ganley and may probably Kivan. All of them let him run wild. Nothing left to talk about. This is a fact. This is not an opinion. This is not emotion. This is a fact.
Chief, that reminds me of long ago talking on a two-way radio where somebody is not seeing you. They just communicating with a voice and they feel they could say whatever and you can't do them anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's people there who communicate with me, some of which we've been around a long time and complain. I said, I want to hear complaints. Tell me I can stop this before it happens. I could have did a healing fire to heal, and I did send a healing fire. So for all we know, this situation is not, this is probably an extension of the healing fire, clearing all that stuff out. So now where he's at, he got to go cold turkey. So if he's a chronic smoker now, do you know what that is that does to a person who's an addict when they have to go cold turkey and especially can't get any water?
You know?
The water they say is dirt. They said the water comes up dirt in the jail. Isn't that true?
I don't know, Chief. I haven't gone.
This is what Tasret told me.
Okay.
She said they were complaining about the conditions they're terrible, the conditions are horrible and everything. I said, but I can't get involved. The same way he couldn't get involved for the other guy is the same way I can't get involved because you went and offered an Orisha of blood without getting permission. I can't get involved in that. That means that Orisha is spanking his ass.
Two ways, Chief, because even this week, well, the week when it happened, or before it happened, I said, I find out it is real smoke, boy. And that's response was like, you find so? And I was like, she really didn't acknowledge how much did it be smoking, because for that week I was up there more regular now. And so I see more of it taking place. And I acknowledge that, yeah, that is real smoke, a lot.
So here we go. But again, you're all telling me this after the fact. Right? I know you, I hear what you're saying, Kivan, so this is not that it's dismissed, but my point being, I like to do stuff in advance to minimize damage. And when I'm telling people what to do, y'all didn't listen.
But since after the meeting, the last time,
yes,
where you're referring to where they talk about the smoking and thing, I did say I find that we did say that in the meeting too, that we're not in communication enough with one another in collective in terms of information passing around, in terms of like what Hasina was making mention of.
Yeah, because she was saying that Min Waab was really snappy at her and impatient and everything. So when we addressed it, Min Waab put on a great show in front of everybody, and nobody was coming with no facts to say, well, this is what's happened. So I said, by that, I can't intervene and then y'all are saying everything is cool. You understand?
I remember you asking me if I had any problems with Min Waab, and my response was no. At the time, I had no problem. I didn't know to that extent at that time what was taking place. But that was hence my statement where we need to have more communication in general, not just individuals with Min Waab, but interaction amongst the tribe, if we call it ourselves a tribe. So that way everybody could be in the loop as to what's going on. And if a situation arrives, it's not just two or three people know about it, but everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of the problem.
Then you're wasting your time trying to work. Then don't say we want to be a tribe if y'all can't or refuse to communicate with each other, because then you're not being honest with each other. It's just show. Everybody's here to get what they want for themselves, but as a collective, y'all are not interested. And from what happened here, that's clearly proven the case.
Is why acknowledging.
I agree with that, Chief.
And by acknowledging
correct. That's how it is.
We need to moving forward. If that is the role that we wanna.
Y'all have to decide that. Y'all have to.
I'm not saying that to you, Chief. I'm saying that to.
Okay, say it to everybody.
Yeah, I'm saying that to everybody and Kairi. We need to have better communication if we want to move forward as a tribe. And because I'm
not going to guide you all, not with this madness here, not a chance. You not getting no guidance from me, aside from the documents I have to assist you with, but as a group, because that means any one of y'all could go get out of line and everybody else won't say nothing. That's a breeding ground for the devil.
As it is right now, I rather do what I have to do in terms of myself, develop myself, see about myself, strengthen myself, because.
And that's why you're not a leader.
Thank you very much, Chief. And that's the vibe I was getting for a very, very, very long time. I tried helping. I tried doing stuff along with people, and every time I tried to help and do stuff,
I'm hearing complaining.
No. It just. I just saying it just.
I don't care to hear that.
Right, Chief. But what I essentially would like to do is work by myself for now.
Well, then you got to talk with the people from Kairi regarding that. That's on you and them.
Yes, Chief.
If what I think we can do, we can create a chat group on the on WhatsApp.
No, this ain't chat groups. You all need to sit down on your own, have a meeting, and have a heart to heart, and look at everything from where you all were, what you've achieved, how you felt, how do we get back there? Because there's been a couple good ideas there. I'm not going to give you all any solution right now. A couple people have put some good ideas in here, and there's been some good ideas that have been mentioned. You all put that together, and tender that to me, and we'll go from there as far as that's concerned. But all I'm hearing is talk right now. I'm not interested in that. I'm looking at what is the solution that you guys have. What can you present as a solution to guarantee this won't happen in the future, that one of you all doesn't do something or gets into a position. And it isn't even about the position. It's the point is, if you see somebody out of line, are you going to assist them by checking it? That's love. That is love. Even if they hate your guts for doing it, that's love. That's care. That's consideration. But to see them sit there and not say nothing and then say we're all working together, that's hypocrisy. All right, so you all meditate on it. For those that's on the webinar, see you tomorrow. For those that have affidavits, just follow up if you've got your affidavit done. If you need a notice of default, I'll send it to you. Ganley, you said your NOD is done. Yeah, go forward. I've already proofed it. Then go ahead and notarize it and scan it and email it and publish it. And anybody else that has stuff, if I haven't looked it over, just get in touch with me in the email. Other than that, we will give it probably 19 days from now, give or take, and see what you all have to offer. Give me something. You got to give me something to motivate me to feel that you're serious, because I thought y'all were serious, but I see you weren't serious. So now you got to show me how you're serious.
Chief?
Yes, go ahead, Elder.
So as of now, you would say that the Kairi office is not functioning, right? In terms of those.
I'm not supporting anything that comes out of that Kairi office. Period.
Sure. So so we have to depend on the present group of each other here.
Yes.
The assistance of the various documents.
Yes, plus myself, because some of you are still getting affidavits. Some of you, I have to look your documents and proof them. So yes, you will get that support from me without a doubt. But for what you were planning, we were working on getting a declaration, which would have been a first in the Caribbean. Everything was there, but it means it wasn't meant to be. So I can accept that. That is a sign from the ancestors. You all have to tighten your shit up. That's why it didn't happen. Notice, Amenhotep said he almost could have got caught up in that. Because him and Latouche talk every day, and Latouche don't come up through that area or come up from south without passing through to reach him.
Sure.
So he could have got you, Elder, said you were shaken by his reaction to you, and then a few days later or a week later, you hear they're locked up. You said, what? So that's telling you the connection. So what happened to him, and I'm telling people he did a ritual, he acknowledged he did it. He told me, I asked him when Tasfet had him phone, I said, did you offer up a chicken? Yes. Was the chicken white? No. No wonder. So he tried to disregard an Orisha. You hear? Is everybody hearing what I'm saying? He disrespected an Orisha, and the Orisha was like, nah, bump you. 20 hours later, he's locked up. The rest of the time before that, no problems. Is everybody seeing the connection here?
Yes, Chief.
Well,
Then I say, okay, trying to help here. Do this to petition Obatala. That's the best you can do. I can't get involved in that, but here's a ritual you can do. Tasfet said she was going to do it. Then she said no. Because I know she got scared because she was afraid she'll do something and worse. So I said, okay, well, then that's it. Well, we'll do the ancestor offering formula. So you can't do the ancestor offering formula. Because your man did a Vodun ritual. You got to get your remedy that way. You're not going to be able to, because that's like now getting the different spiritual modalities fighting against each other. No, they'll slap them with chaos. And if they're if they are under addiction, oh, they'll really smack them. So Min Waab is a chronic smoker and he's in jail now and he can't get no weed. He's going through withdrawals. He is sweating. He's going through withdrawals. So we'll see what happens come the 24th, or the word will get out, because he's used documents that make reference to me. So anytime they call me or contact me, I said, no, I don't support that. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with them. That's why I wanted a police report, and Tasfet was balking on the police report. I said, the police report will tell me everything. Because once I find that out and I see it on that police report, done. He's done. Yeah, I'm sure he gets everything in jail, Ganya, but there's only so much weed you can smoke from another guy's ass in jail. Because then he's going to end up running debt in the jail to what? Feed his addiction. Then he's going to have to start lying to guys in jail. You don't do that. Okay, so everything else is good to go. You all know what you all need to do. Great talking with you all. You all have a lot to think about. You all have a lot that you have to do some serious soul searching. And you all have to mean what you say what you mean, and your actions have to support what you say you were doing. All right?
All right, Chief.
Right, Chief.
Happy good day, everyone.
Happy to do.